welcome to another installment of Down Under Network. My name's Diff, and I will be your host today. I'll be joined by a few people along the way, and we've got some new gear that we're trying out. I'm not sure if you can see it all, but the whole mic and headset. Hopefully the audio will be of a superior quality than previous streams. We will be streaming round one. We'll be streaming Kieren Howard, who is playing Adeptus Astartes, versus Matt the Plague Hulk Morosoli, who is playing a Chaos list. We'll bring up the list shortly. We'll wait for a few more viewers to join in, and I'll just get a sound check from everyone, and then we will kick off. Let me just do one last little spruik. Dum. Dum. It'd be really good if Facebook could just go, bang, post this to all the groups. But, say la vie. We've got two people in the stream. If you guys could, A, let us know if you can hear me, but B, we'll get a bit of a sound check to see how it's coming across. Alright, so we'll dive on into some of these lists while these guys are doing some of their paperwork. So we've got Kieren Howard, as I said, with Adeptus Astartes, and Matt Morosoli with Chaos. They're doing a funky mission pack. I'll see if I can get one of the mission sheets, if you will. So this is an ETC style scoring. However, it is not specifically ETC missions. And as I said, I'll explain that once I get one of those score sheets up and running. Mission sheets, I should say. So, we've got Kieren Howard, Adeptus Astartes. He's running a battalion of Raven Guard. So, Smash Captain, Librarian, 3 units of Intercessors, with a Thunderhammer on each sergeant. We then have the battalion of Salamanders, so that has the chaplain, who's the warlord, with the Salamander's mantle. It has another jump pack chaplain, a lieutenant, 2 intercessor squads, also with Thunderhammers, and a scout squad, as well as a Primaris Ancient and 10 Hellblasters. Morosoli, he is playing the Chaos Demons, Thousand Suns, Death Guard soup list. It's a continuation of some of the lists that he's played pretty much over the last 12 months, and we'll go through it in a bit of detail. So we've got the Changecaster as well as the Poxbringer, 2 20 Bloodletter Bombs, and a 29 Plaguebearer unit. He's then got the 3 Plague Burst Crawlers. I haven't seen him use these for a while. He may have used them at his last tournament. I have to double check. But of the last, say, 6-ish months, they haven't been in his list. They are a new unit. I believe he's probably trialling out some different options for his trip to LVO. So if you are on the other side of the world, and you're heading to LVO in 2020, which is just around the corner, Matt Morosoli won the ITC Australian Championships in February this year, and as a result scored himself a free ticket, flights and accommodation to the Las Vegas Open. He's got Khan the Betrayer, and then he's also got a battalion of T-Suns, so Ahriman, 2 Demon Princes, 2 units of 10 Cultists, and the, I'll say, mini Zangor Bomb. We'll take a look at some of their stats, and we'll probably be revisiting this a couple of times as people join. But if we go look at their profile, so Kieren here has a win ratio of 53%, so 56 wins, 45 losses, 5 draws. His largest winning streak is 7 games straight, and he's got 19 wins by tabling. His T-Whip is 14%, so 14% of the tournaments he plays in, he gets to a tournament in a winning position, coined by the infamous Val Heffelfinger and the Falcon from 40kstats.com/40kstats. So that is 3 tournaments. He has effectively gone 4 games undefeated and been in a position to win the tournament. Of the games that are in Down Under Pairings that we know who went first, he has a significant advantage when going first and a huge disadvantage if going second. So that's a pretty clear-cut ratio between the two. While this is not an ITC-style event, we can see some of the secondaries he uses quite commonly. Old School Recon and Headhunter are some of his faves. He came 3rd at WinterCon, 2nd at Anzac Cup, and 1st place at Clash of Titans. He's played predominantly Chaos varieties over the last little while, with Chaos Demons being played 41 times, Chaos Soup 20 times. All right, and we will jump on over and have a look at Matt the Plague Hulk Morosoli. So Matt the Plague Hulk Morosoli, now a member of the Australian Art of War Gaming Club, United, I don't know. So he has a win ratio of 78%, and he's of 46% of his tournaments he finishes or gets to a winning position. So he has got 11 tournaments where he has gone 4 wins at a minimum. Not losing a game in the first 4 rounds. His largest winning streak is 10 straight games, and he's got 48 wins by tabling. We can see that Matt has quite a strong win ratio when he goes first, but a massive win ratio when going second. So that pretty much goes in line with if Matt gets second turn, looking at Kieren's history and looking at Matt's history, that's heavily in Matt's favour. And going first, it looks a bit more line ball. That being said, Kieren does like to jump around factions a bit. So those win ratios by first and second really come down to really more what faction you're playing. But we'll keep on heading down. Matt has come first at the Triumph at Moab, first at the AVC Open in 2019, and first at WinterCon. Those are his most recent podiums. And you can see he's played a fair bit of Chaos, and those win ratios are still quite high. He's played Adeptus Astartes 10 times of late, and with a win ratio of 70%. So I don't have the stats of how many of those are since the the updated codex, which obviously plays a huge impact on those ratios. All right. These guys are starting to get to deployment. So we can see that Matt is deploying first, and Matt would normally deploy the Plague Bearer unit or Plague Bearer bomb as his screen. Usually he would play the Zango Bomb deployed fairly defensively, looking at the Dark Matter Crystal with the 2 Bloodletter Bombs in Deep Strike. Historically, he's also had a unit of Pink Horrors in reserve for Deep Strike as well. He hasn't got that in his list. Obviously needs to make points for the Plague Burst Crawlers. Has Kieren rolled the Seas yet? No, he has not. Totally not panics. How is the audio coming through? He has pre-rolled it yesterday. Thanks, Uni. Yes, hopefully you guys can hear me coming through loud and clear. Haven't heard any complaints so far, and I've been waffling on. We'll also be joined by a couple of special guest commentators over the next couple of days. A little quiet, but good sound quality. Well, we can bump that up a little bit. We have the power. I got the power. The other thing that is pretty cool, let's see how much this is going to screw up my setup. So the new gear that we got the Rodecaster Pro mixer, which is absolutely bowler. I'd like to say a big thank you to the patrons of the Down Under Network. We couldn't have done it without you. Now let's see if I can playing buttons. That's the one I wanted. Thank you very much to the patrons of Down Under Network. So part of this, I got this last night, unpacked it, and it is so baller. It comes with a whole bunch of out-of-the-box sound effects, which we can play around with and put more appropriate ones for us. But just to give you guys a bit of fun while we're waiting for these guys to get their shit on. So we have some random music that we can chuck on. We've got some background laughter. We've got a round of applause. If some of my jokes lay flat, or if they win, and something spooky happens. I haven't worked out exactly what this little cheap thing does, but anyway, bit of fun. There is a line on the screen like a box kind of deal. So that relates to our overlay. I'd love that. Thank you. So I said I'll come back to your question or point or comment, Uni. So this is what each player has on their table, or each table has on their table. So basically what it goes through is the pre-game procedure. I'll see if I can get an actual soft copy of this and put it up on the screen a little later. The mission objectives, so basically how you score. So it talks about kill point differential, Maelstrom, Eternal War. So it is ETC-esque, but instead of having fixed missions, you are going through the draft process. The way the draft process works is you alternate crossing out a deployment, a Maelstrom of War, and an Eternal War option. So there are 3 deployment options, which are Dawn of War, Hammer and Anvil, and the Spearhead, the corner one, not the Vanguard version. There are 3 Maelstroms, Strategic Gamble, Decapitation Strike, and Spoiler of War. And there are 3 Eternal Wars, Secure and Control, Beachhead, and Capture the Data. And so basically the way it works is if you are playing against an army where Hammer and Anvil will heavily hurt you, then you would cross out the deployment Hammer and Anvil. If some of those objectives would screw you, you can cross them out. And so basically the way it works out is the last Maelstrom and last Eternal War and last deployment left is your mission. So these guys are playing Dawn of War deployment. The Maelstrom of War is the strategic gamble. If at the start of a player's turn they have fewer than 3 tactical objectives, they must generate until they have 3. At the start of each player's turn, after they've generated new tactical objectives, that player can choose to discard 2 of their tactical objectives to generate a new 1. If that player is able to achieve the newly generated tactical objective this turn, they score double the victory points for that tactical objective. The Eternal War is secure and control. At the end of the game, each objective marker is worth 3 victory points to the player who controls it. A player controls an objective marker if they have more models within 3 inches of the center of it than their opponent. So the objective markers that you see on the table are the Down Under Network objectives. They are the 6-inch or 3-inch, depending on if you're talking about diameter or radius, neoprene objectives numbered 1 to 6. And if you are touching the objective, you are on the objective. So let's just come in here and fix that little box that that Uni was referring to. I have played around a little bit with the overlay. So that is just allowing us to effectively draw on the screen. Normally, we've historically had the screen, or the table I should say, a little smaller, not a huge amount, but just a little bit. And we've just changed the layout around a little bit. So that overlay was just based on the previous size. Girth. Now you are a B radio station DJ. Funnily enough, I was asked where I got this from, and I said I got it from the DJ store. And someone said, "What's it called?" And I said, "DJ store." So there's a store in Richmond called the DJ store. It's what it says on the tin. So once again, thanks, big thanks to the patrons of Down Under Network. With their support, we have been able to increase the quality of our content. First of all, that was the purchase of a dedicated stream PC, and then we've now upgraded all our audio gear. We currently have 1 camera. We are looking at increasing that, but we decided that the audio gear upgrade was first cab off the rank. So it's a relatively small field this weekend. So we have. Let's just bring up. So Down Under Pairings, you'll be able to find Vic Masters. We'll take a look at that leaderboard, which of course no one's actually won any games yet. But we have 26 players here this weekend. So as I said, it's not a massive field, but we do have quite a few Sharks in attendance. So we have Matt Morosoli and Jeremy Martino and Adam Camilleri, both 2019 and now 2020 Australian ETC players. We also have Lee Abbey, who is now on the 2020 Australian ETC team. So half of the Australian ETC team is in attendance. We have Kieren Howard, who's played in, get this, if I go have a look at rankings at the moment. Kieren has played in the most tournaments by far. He has played in 21 tournaments on Down Under Pairings, or results in Down Under Pairings this season. I believe that number is closer to 26 or 27. Bear with me 1 second. Yeah, so this is his 27th event this year. So it's a pretty impressive trip around Oz. The dude is not with the travel at this point. Nuts with the travel. He might be just working to play 40k. Nuts. Yes. So also in attendance we have Rob Lane. We have Stewie the Kid Trainer, who was on the Victorian ATC team for 2019. We have Matt Jackson, who is on the 2020 Victorian ATC team and was on the 2016 Australian ETC team. We have our Gumby this weekend, at least for day one, is Andrew Armstrong, who was 2016 Australian ETC player and 2018 Australian ETC coach. So it is a bit of a Shark Tank. Not quite the same Shark Tank that Men's Masquerade was about a month ago. And the reason why I say that is because the same sharks that are here this weekend were there that weekend. But we also had a number of Queensland lads. We had, I think it was 7 out of the 8 2020 Australian ETC players, or something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but it was a lot in attendance. So, do you guys have any predictions for this round? Be keen to know, Uni and Panics, what your thoughts are on who has the upper hand in round one. We can check out the Down Under Pairings predictor. We're still working on this one a bit, but we can check out the comparison win ratios between factions head-to-head and win-loss. Matt Morosoli has a 60% chance of taking out the gold. We don't have enough data, I think, with Marines in comparison to the previous Marine games to really have the predictor come up with a more accurate score. I would say that's a lot closer to the mark. Matt has done quite well, I believe, against Marines with his Chaos, both in practice and in tournament play. So I'm fairly confident that Matt's going into this as the favourite in my opinion, although Kieren's list is a solid list. Okay, so I'm just going to confirm whether or not there was an attempted seize. I asked if Kieren seized. He rolled a 1. Boom. That is what those effects for. Money well spent. So Matt has bunkered down. He's got his cultists in the bottom right-hand corner, and bring up the. Yes, he's got his cultists in the bottom right-hand corner. I believe the Zangor bomb is also down there at the moment, along with one Plague Burst crawler. And then he's got the Plague Bearer screen in the bottom left, or centre left, I guess I should say, with 2 of the Plague Burst crawlers up front. And then he's got his characters all up in that jam, so he'll have Ahriman, 2 princes, and a couple of the demon characters, ready to lay out some psychic offense onto the Marines. I'll be really interested to see how these Plague Burst crawlers come into their effect. You saw a lot of them. I'd say I was seeing a lot more of them at the start of the year. They just went away for a number of reasons. But the importance of indirect fire cannot be understated, overstated. It's important. And that's and being such a beefcake unit to boot, they don't go down easy. There'll be a bit of a, we are looking at some fairly strong lists on the table, so I think we'll see some pretty big dints being made of people's of each other's armies fairly early on. First rules question. I believe they're talking about how much it costs to cast a power. So directly in front of me we have Orcs v Orcs. I might actually do a slow pan just to give you guys a bit of a feel of what else is going on. So on this table just in front of us we have Orc Boys, Shooters versus Flyers, I think they're Smasher Guns, and some other vehicles. To our right here we have the man Adam Camilleri playing Marines with Guard versus Marines. I'm running out of view here, so let's come on back while they've stopped arguing about rules. Not sure. I think they're There's a bit of tension. I think they played each other a couple of weeks ago, maybe even just last week, at the Overwatch Team Challenge, I think is the actual title. Maybe it was Championship. No, it was Challenge. Overwatch Team Challenge. I think there was there's now an ongoing joke between them on whether or not the dice was rolled for the Seize the Initiative. I don't know the joke. I believe Uni might have more information on that one than I do. And if Uni wants to come on, we are happy to bring you on via Discord, my friend, if you are keen. I'll be joined by Josh McGowan shortly. Team Adam. So it'll be interesting to see Matt's decision on how aggressive he's going to end up being with his bombs. He quite obviously didn't Dark Matter Crystal the first turn. It looks like... Oh, hey man, how you doing? The Honest Wargamer. He's a good lad, and I've heard he's pretty honest, and he's a wargamer. No, yeah. So if you haven't checked out the Honest Wargamer, they do a shitload of shit hot content. Big fan. From a time zone standpoint, I get a lot of his stuff. I think it's early morning for us when he normally goes on. So quite often I'm either listening to the Twitch channel while driving. There's a lot of 40k and Age of Sigmar content that I'm a big fanboy of you too. Sharing the love between people who stream. It's a tiring job sometimes, but somebody has to do it. No, I'm kidding. I absolutely fucking love doing this. I get asked this question all the time. So I used to... I don't think I ever got quite to the same number as Kieren has got to, with 27 events in a year, but I wasn't far off it. wasn't far off it. I think my most was around 25-ish. I used to push pretty hard on traveling for events, and trying to just bring 40k, or try to bring the 40k communities closer together, by going in and taking their prizes. No, but the streaming is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Adam and we are alternating a bit on who's doing the stream versus who's either in the event, or whatnot. With Adam on the Australian ETC team, again for 2020, we made the decision that the more competitive focused events that would be good practice, we were going to put him on the table. So he'll be repping both Down Under Network, the Art of War Gaming Club, as well as the Australian ETC team. He's the true soldier, honest wargamer. I am the... I've joked a lot. So for those that have seen some of the Australian ETC photos that have gone out, they're usually 40k characters with the players' heads on them instead. And I joked that I should put my head... Oh, not joked, it was done. Put my head on the Emperor in his corpse chair, because I was once important. No, I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. I was never important. All right, so we're out of the psychic phase. There wasn't a huge amount of work done there. I believe the Plague Burst Crawler was warp timed up a little closer. We're into shooting phase. I don't imagine we're going to see too much. Basically, we've got 3 Plague Burst Crawlers that are going to do their thing. And as I said, I'm not anticipating that it's going to have a huge, put a huge dent in the first turn. All right. So I might take a little bit of a walk around, and see if I can get a look at how some of the other tables are going. So I'm going to just bear with me 1 second while I come in via Discord. Oh, I love technology.
Alright. Let's see how this bad boy goes. Alright, so I'm just going to check some of the sound. Alright, that should do.
You got me, Diff?
Oh, I think we're joined by Mr. McGowan. Let me just...
Is that you, Mr. McGowan?
It is. Good morning.
Oh, my friend. We are joined by the wonderful and ever so sexy Mr. Josh McGowan. Say hello to your
Doing everyone?
fans. So we have Kieren Howard and Matt Morosoli on stream. They're fairly early in their first turn. So nothing overly exciting has happened in the what is 40-odd minutes of the, the first game. Beast from the East. Who's Beast from the East? That's not Ez, is it?
Terry.
It is Ez? I swear he changes Discord names quite regularly.
Keeps getting reported, that's why.
You can't report a kid, can you? Like, they're allowed to do what they want, aren't they? A kid.
You have to call his dad, make sure he changes the Wi-Fi password.
So right now, you have coming across with the adultery tones of not only one but two of Eric Lathuris's fathers. Neil Kerr, come on, man. Are you just upset of that wisecrack I made of you in that pink judge's shirt? So for those who haven't seen, the winter team championships of 40K, Neil head judge Kerr, who is just a juggernaut of judging, was in a pink judge's shirt, and he looked sexy. He looked sexy. I don't think he liked my comments though. Hence why he's and look, you know, there are some times I might smell, but today's not one of those. So what's going on in your neck of the woods, Mr. McGowan?
We're an hour behind, so we've only just really started our day. Got daddy daycare today, so wifey's off at work, so I've got the girls, one's down for a nap, and then the other two are watching Moana. We've lined up with a fruit bowl, and
Which one are they watching, sorry?
we're trying to kill each other.
So they're watching Moana?
The, Maui, the Islander one.
Awesome movie. The one with The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
Yeah. It is
My 3-year-old favourite.
It's one of my favourites. So no, a lot of that soundtrack, my 2-year-old's a big fan. So it's non-stop.
It's like the stop button. So she'll be running around crazy, and then I'll put that on. She'll have the opening soundtrack. She just stands in front of the TV. It's great. Kieren's on Space Marines.
He is on Space Marines. So for those interested, you can find the lists on Down Under Pairings by just heading to the link that you'll find in the stream chat. We might just bring that up though. So on there you'll be able to find the two lists for Kieren Howard and Matt Morosoli. So for those that have just joined us, let's go with... Kieren is running a Raven Guard battalion. He's got a Smash Captain, a Librarian, and 3 units of Intercessors with Stalker Bolt Rifles and Thunderhammer. He then has the Battalion of Salamanders with the Smash Captain, who's got the Salamander Mantle Relic and is the Warlord, as well as a Jump Pack Chaplain and Lieutenant. And then 2 units of Interceptors with Stalker Bolt Rifles and Thunderhammers. Scout Squad, Primaris Ancient, and the 10 Hellblasters. So, pretty solid list. One of the interesting things I see with some of the players doing the rounds these days that like to jump around from top tier list to top tier list, you just don't get the same number of games in with that list that you would with, say, Morosoli, who has pretty much played his list non-stop. He's tweaked it here and there, but on the most part, it's just non-stop chaos. He's done pretty much all of his lists of this year have been of Chaos variety, which have consisted of 2 Demon Princes, Ahriman, a Plague Bearer bomb, 2 Bloodletter bombs, and 1 Zangor bomb, and then the rest of the list has varied. So now, with the huge need for indirect fire, the list that you're seeing for Morosoli is pretty much his previous list. He's dropped out a Zangor bomb and a Pink Horror bomb for 3 Plague Burst Crawlers. Or thereabouts. I mean, there's some other tweaks in there as well, but that's the bulk of it. So it's the Changecaster, Poxbringer, 2 20-man Bloodletter bombs, and a 29 Plague Bearer unit. He's got Khan the Betrayer and 3 Plague Burst Crawlers. I'll be really interested to see how he finds Khan the Betrayer. I've been a big fan of the of him for a number of editions now, but he generally doesn't see a huge amount of play. And then he's got his, as I said, the battalion of T-Sons is pretty much his, I'd say, stock standard kind of list that he's been taking for most of the year. Ahriman, 2 Demon Princes, a 20-man Zangor bomb. So it's not quite the same. So he normally would have run 2 larger Zangor bombs, but he's trimmed that back to get the 3 indirect fire units being Plague Burst Crawlers. So what are your thoughts on those 2 lists, Mr. McGowan?
I like him. Kieran's one that he's also part of the Dominus Crusade Vigilance Detachment.
Yes, yeah. So he has both battalions are in Dominus Crusaders.
Yeah, it's a lot. So do you know if he's trying to use the Salamander character
It's
to sort of...
It's hard to say what he's going to use it for yet. They are almost 50 minutes into the game, and they are in Kieran's first turn. So it was a fairly slow deployment. There was a fair bit of discussion. They didn't really start playing till probably 25 minutes ago. So as I said, while the round is 50 minutes in, they're still fairly early on. They are clocking, I believe, so it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. As you can see, Kieren kind of when Kieren first deployed, it was in a strong triangle formation. He's then extended out those screens. So if I bring that up. So originally he was set up more like that, and those screen units have both pushed out to just extend that defense against the bombs that are going to be dropping. Interestingly enough, if Matt can avoid it, I reckon you unless it really does depend on how aggressive Kieren is in that first turn. But there's a good chance you'll see Matt probably drop those bombs on turn 3 rather than turn 2. I don't see them. He doesn't need them in turn 2. Unlike ITC style, where you need to kill things every turn, Eternal War tends to favour more late game defensive play. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out.
Eric's just pointed out that if you look at the board map where the green dice is up the top right,
yep.
With those screens and stuff, he's going to charge straight through that building. Because those looks like scout. No, they'll be intercessors because he only had intercessors in that line.
Kieren has 1 unit of scouts, but you know what? I'm gonna head on down and have a closer look. So I'll join you in Discord in 2 seconds.
Can you hear me, my friend?
We got you.
Hopefully I'm coming through.
It's through to me.
Yep,
So.
cool.
Can you guys in the chat hear Diff?
If you can hear me, mate, they can hear me. All right. So what we've got here is the Salamander Smash Captain is in the center of the table, and then the other Smash Captains next to him, and Librarian is so basically three characters have just gone fairly aggressive into the center of the table, and then in the I guess home base, if you will, we've got a just going to clarify. Are the Blue Marines the Salamanders?
Yeah, Blue Dragon.
Cool. All right. So the Ultramarines models are being called the Blue Dragons. Basically, we have an intercessor squad on the right-hand side of the V. Sorry, left-hand side of the screen. And then we've got two Raven Guard intercessor squads, which are those pushing out to the right-hand side of that ruin. The one you were pointing out there, Josh and Eric, were the two intercessor squads. The scout squad is actually just hovering, bunkering down in the mix of all those Marines.
I don't know. You tell me. You're army, man. Can any of them say? I can.
Yeah. So at the moment, I think Ez raised a very, very good point. Through that wall looks pretty juicy.
Even on the far left-hand side, the Blue Dragon's in the missile complex. That's actually quite high terrain. So infantry landing behind it 9 inches away, they won't be overwatched that way either.
Yeah, no, 100%. So basically both corners are open for a 9-inch no overwatch charge. So he's left himself fairly open there. Out that he has pushed forward, Matt, that is, at least one of the Plague Burst Crawlers, which is forcing, if he doesn't deal with killing that Plague Burst Crawler, the Plague Burst Crawler can charge and take up a fair bit of that Overwatch himself.
Even getting down to the front end of that building to charge the left-hand side, he can stay behind the corner, so not even seeing it all and take the Overwatch. Yeah.
But exactly. Or even just be more aggressive. Because at the moment, I'm not seeing. Is that 2 wounds left? Or? So that Plague Burst Crawler, that is the more aggressive of the three, has 2 wounds remaining. He wouldn't want to take any Overwatch on that, because he could probably get through the 2 wounds. Depends on what he obviously tries to charge, but. It's still a risk. The intercessors have so the Blue Dragons on the left-hand side have actually just charged that wounded and the Smash Captain is declaring a charge against everything, mainly because there's no Overwatch to be worried about. Okay.
A lot of camera shake. I don't know if your stand's getting bumped or something.
No, they're leaning. We've got some lads. They're leaning on the table. Is all it is. There's very little we can do about that. When Morosoli decides he's leaning on something, that's all she wrote. So I believe in the chat there were questions of how Lee Abbey's game is going. So I'm going to head over that direction. So Lee is playing a GSC list, and he's playing against a Guard and Blood Angels list. So the Guard Blood Angels has Basilisk, Wyvern, Mortars, 2 Lehman Russ, 3 Lehman Russ, the Smash Captain, Libby Dread, and then a shit ton of mans and Scout. So to geez, all right, thank you very much. Sam Dutney has just handed over his list. Sam is one of our patrons, and I think we've got to hook him up with a spare objective number 5, is it? Yeah, so he's got a set of the Down Under Network objective set, but managed to lose number 5. Yeah, so he's got Strachan, 2 company commanders, 60 infantry, Astropath, Preacher, 3 armored sentinels, 2 units of mortars, Wyvern, and Basilisk. So he's gone the brigade. Then he's got the Talon battalion with 3 tank commanders and 30 infantry, as well as a platoon commander. And then the Blood Angels. The Blood Angels is a pretty stock standard captain, librarian, 3 units of scouts. Solid list. And he's just getting hit with Aberrant and Gene Stealers. So the Aberrant, Gene Stealers, and I think is it a Goliath or a truck or something? I can't remember if it's a
truck.
Yeah, he's got that in there as well. So it's I think my money would be on it fairly early on in the game, but yeah, I'll come back to that at a later date.
How good do those Blood Angel scouts get in the battalion? They're no longer axe. With, +1 attack and +1 to wound. Every turn that they get charged. Yeah,
they're solid. All right, so just looking where these characters have ended up. So we've got back to Morosoli's table. We've got a Smash Captain who looks like he's in base with either a Demon Prince or Khan. I can't actually see which one he's engaged with. He may have been engaged with both. The Salamander Smash Captain looks to have gone down. Geez, that's I walked away from the table, and I think that assault phase went real quick.
Did so. Can you confirm what happened to the Smash Captain with the 2 Demon Princes?
Yeah, well, I can tell you where the Smash Captain is. So the Prince is attacking not with his weapon, and Khan is attacking not with his weapon. So effectively using a close combat weapon. He doesn't want to kill the character, I think, by the looks of it, because the character Kieren doesn't have enough CP to do the fight again strat, but he has enough CP to do the fight when he dies strat. Yep. So Matt wants him to not die in combat.
One kill point each.
Cool. What happened with that bad boy?
Oh, he died in the explosion. I killed him, he came back to 2 CP from 1 wound, and he died in the explosion.
Oh, as in the explosion from the Plague Burst Crawler exploded and killed the Smash Captain.
Oh.
Yeah, that's harsh.
Sully sounded really disappointed with that.
Yeah. Funny about that. All right, so it looks like I'm just going to update some of these scores for them. So it looks like Morosoli is on 3 CP for Maelstrom versus 2 CP Kieren. Did anyone get first strike?
We got the first strike.
And you've got Warlord, haven't you? Cool.
what was Matt's relic?
What was Matt's relic?
Did you take the crystal with the? I'm guessing that Zangor's on the right hand side.
I'm not going to ask the question.
Obviously.
Because the way he's deployed those Zangors, that's the only logical choice, in my opinion.
I think it's on his list. He's written it down on it's one of those two princes. So that's why I was just inquiring because it seems like a big gap there.
Yeah, normally he would have the dark matter the crystal on one of the princes and have deploy those Zangors fairly defensively. He's deployed his Zangors defensively in a corner. The only logical reason for putting them there, completely out of the game, is if he has the dark matter crystal. But for me to confirm that, that highlights the Zangors. So I just
100%, yeah.
Yeah, I'm more than.
I just asking because you know Matt a lot.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I would bet money on him having it. But yeah, I think I'm. It's one of those things. It's really tricky. You want to ask players
but don't
relevant questions without giving away anything. So asking something that's happened, like how did that character die, is fine because it's past tense and things things like that. But yeah, it's a little hard to. Pretty quiet apparently. Let's bump that up a little bit more.
They're actually really clear when you did your roving.
Yeah, I was coming directly through Discord. How am I coming through now? Booyah, booyah, booyah. Booyah kasha. Shout out to the Ali G fans of the late 90s. Alright, so Matt,
so Demon Princess go.
You go.
Just falling back, so going back over what you told him before without going into the strat. So Matt elected just a close combat weapon so he doesn't have the Smash Captain do the 2 CP
fight again.
on the Legion or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
fight
so
again.
so basically
So he's just going to pull out, finish him off in Smite.
Yep. You go.
And then that enables him to get up with the Plague Bearers, wrap a squad, quite central there. Like there's a couple of characters and whatnot. Guessing 1 wound. You can see towards the end of that frame there. So he's got a few targeted psychic powers like Doombolt and whatnot.
So there's a librarian who has, I believe they are counting down with wounds. So there's a 1 next to the librarian. Let me just. Thank you very much, Haycor, who has just subscribed. Let's see if I can press the right button here. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
You guys are getting fancy.
We are getting fancy. That's all the new gear. Jeez, they are really giving that camera a workout today. Yeah, so we've got a librarian in the center of the table here with 1 wound. We have a Smash Captain in this ruin on the 2nd level, which you obviously can't see on screen, but he was in combat with Khan and one of the princes. And as said previously, Khan elected to, instead of using Gorechild, he used a close combat weapon, so basically punched the captain in the face. And the Demon Prince, instead of using his weapons, used his close combat weapon, which every unit in the game has, to punch the captain in the face. And then, as a result, has now been able to step back with those 2 princes and Khan. Those Plague Bearers have pushed forward. And he's going to use just psychic powers to take out the captain. And as Josh rightly put it, he'll use a couple of those targetable psychic powers to take out that librarian. And then I think you'll start seeing, and big shout. And this is why you tune in when we've got lads from the Art of War on the stream. So check out where those bloodletters are dropping. exactly where Ez had suggested. And so dropping out of line of sight, and he's going to then just go charge straight to that wall. And looking at Kieran's face, he does not look happy with that play. Big dick energy.
Yeah, so that salamander strat sort of the talking point and the bit of the boogeyman. You know, a lot of people are sort of looking for that to go, oh, that's the new answer. And then you verse Matt with his chaos where he doesn't actually shoot.
Yeah. So for those who aren't as familiar with some of these new strats, did you want to go over how that may apply?
Yeah, if you want. So salamanders, not sure if you're talking.
I put you on the spot. You didn't have the rule in front of you, did you? You like me?
Okay,
That's all right. I only like talking about rules where I know them 100% or I have them in front of me. As soon as
I'll get him. 2 seconds. Just literally 2 seconds.
Dun, 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 dun. Although apparently I can just do some background music while we wait. This is the fancy buttons. I have no idea what the song is. It's just the stock standard song for the red button. You know they say don't push the red button? It's because it plays music apparently.
Okay, so the salamander one...
Sorry, I think Ez just asked whether or not Kieren has played Chaos before. Come on, man. Be nice. So, yes.
There's a strat you can do when you put your star brand inside a building.
We might come back to that one. So, the salamander strat.
Salamander strat. So, we've got... the page of the song so I can read it out.
Oh, the page is too sticky? Because that codex is pretty exciting.
So self-sacrifice, 2 CP. Use the stratagem at the start of your opponent's shooting phase. Select one salamander's infantry unit. Till the end of that phase, enemy units cannot target any other infantry units from your army that are within 6 inches of the selected unit, unless that unit is the closest enemy unit to the firing and visible to it. So what a lot of guys are going is a souped-up captain with mantles and stuff like that. You can have some warlord traits or different relics to basically go, I'm neg 1 to hit, I'm neg 1 to wound, I can get +2 toughness. There's a couple of psychic powers that you can put on to buff them for, further toughness, or neg 1 to hit, neg 1 to wound comes from the psychic power, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Stand this guy at the front, and then you put everything behind, and it's a case of going, you have a few things like scouts spread out throughout the board, just to be closer. So then you stick your captain out there and you go, cool, unless you shoot all the scouts out in front of me, you can't target the guys behind me, like all your juicy Hellblaster units, your intercessors, aggressors, assault sense and dev sense. So you go, because they're all infantry. So you go, unless the captain's dead, you can't shoot the army apart from a couple of scouts. The reason why it's important to buff the character, if you do go up against an army that chews through scouts quickly, you need him to be able to survive. Otherwise, you've just spent 2 CP to kill your own character.
Yeah, for sure. I think the play still technically works against Morosoli's list because Morosoli has the 3 Plagueburst crawlers, but not really, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't.
Morosoli wanted to shoot the scouts or the forward screening units, not to get to the character.
Yeah.
To get his bombs in. So.
Yeah. So I think the one thing of note is the Thunderfire cannons. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Don't have the infantry keyword. So the Plagueburst crawlers are in my opinion, are extremely important to help get rid of their indirect fire. Morosoli is a combat threat army. He's going to predominantly be trying to use terrain to charge from out of line of sight. He's going to try and use terrain to hide certain units, like those Zangor bombs hiding in that bottom right-hand corner, who are still in the bottom right-hand corner, so they haven't come out. So he's only dropped one bomb so far. But the Zangors that were down in the bottom, or are in the bottom right-hand corner, if Kieren was to have a couple of Thunderfire cannons and or a Whirlwind, that quickly gets rid of those Zangors. So the Plague Burst Crawlers are, I think, an important addition to Matt's list, to be able to take it to units that are out of line of sight that also can fire indirect. But Kieran's list doesn't have that, so you'll notice that the Plague Burst Crawlers are just being used as bully units to be quite aggressive, which is interesting because they're hard to kill, but it's not really the play that I think you'll often see them being used. I think you often see them, all three of them, kind of going up as a blocking line of sight kind of shenanigans. I've seen that being used quite effectively before. And we're now seeing the Plague Bearer unit charging the Blue Dragons intercessors that push forward. I'll be interested to see.
So he's starting to encircle now.
Yep.
So he's going to get 2 lines all the way up, so it doesn't matter. He's probably going to be up to like the 5th model in that unit. So when anything dies, he's just going to... So that'll be, because the blue guys are the salamanders, so they don't have the thunderhammers in the units.
The salamanders also had thunderhammers.
Do they?
Yeah. So each of the intercessors. So there's 3 Raven Guard intercessors units with thunderhammers in each, and there's 2 salamander ones with thunderhammers in. Yeah. And the Bloodletters have made their charge, which was always happening. Pop the icon.
Not always.
You're correct.
So Thunderfire cannons, what you were saying, so the Thunderfires, they've got a couple of different keywords. One's vehicle and artillery, and Thunderfire cannon for the actual cannons. Then you got the Tech Marine Gunner, which is character, infantry, and Tech Marine. So they form 2 separate units when they drop down. So yes, you can target
the Thunderfire
separately
itself
to the character. Yep, which is only toughness 6 for 4 wounds. 2 up save, so it's pretty formidable, especially if you put it in cover.
Oh yeah, it's not an easy thing to. If you look at most units that fire indirect,
low AP.
Yeah, they're usually low AP. I mean, you've got what's the AP of a Basilisk these days? Is it 3?
3.
Yeah, I mean that's solid. And the
It's great.
Yeah, I don't have the Death Guard Codex in front of me, but for anyone in the chat that might have it or just know the AP value of the mortar round from the Plague Burst Crawler, I think it's AP -1. I think.
Definitely -1. I'm just seeing if it's -2.
Yeah. And he has used the Plague Burst Crawler to charge into the... That's AP -2. Thank you, Hendo Blake, 26. Question, Hendo Blake, is 26 a lucky number for you, or are you the 26th Hendo Blake? It's important.
You said that Kieren only had 2 CP.
Yes.
He could
he doesn't anymore, by the way.
Here. Okay. I'll shut up then.
No, he had 2 CP. So on the right-hand side of the screen, they're using dice to keep track of the CP counters. There was 2 CP dice in Kieran's spot. There is now only 0. There's now 0. Whereas it looks like Soli's still got 6. How long you reckon till self-sacrifice gets fact so it can't be used on a character? It's interesting. I don't think it's that amazing. So let me rephrase that. It's quite strong. It is quite strong for all the reasons McGowan pointed out just before. But the thing is, it just means that if you look at combat-based armies, they don't care about that strat. If you build an army around that, and it's still good without it, then you're fine. I think any army that tries to over-leverage that ability is just asking for a bad matchup. So
I think anything with movement, it's like anything else. It's like, how many times you've been playing Diff and you go, oh, look, I've got this unit in front of my character and you can't shoot it, and then you just absolutely bait the unit. And with your position, you're like, well, now my character is the closest model.
Yep.
Shoot the character without sniper weapons, because I think anything that can gain angles and stuff with movement and stuff like that, because if you're using it on one character, like bike base is pretty much the biggest, or a cataphracti Terminator, 40 mil whatnot.
Yep.
Trying to hide whole units behind one singular base.
Yeah.
It's only going to be good for like the first turn to 2.
Yeah, as soon as you can start getting angles. So was I right? So when you read that, the actual wording of that strat out, is it you can only shoot them? So if I can block line of sight to that character, can I shoot the units behind it?
100%.
Yeah. So with ruins, like you can use the terrain to try and block line of sight of firing lines. You can use vehicles like rhinos and stuff like that to assist with that as well. Yes, it makes it harder. Yes, you might need to put things into your list that you weren't going to put in anyway or put in previously. But that is an evolving meta. I think it's not specifically this strat in general, but I like seeing tough combos come out that require you to think of a way around it. Simply put, rather than a codex comes out and there's nothing fancy. All right, so Kieren is currently picking up the Raven Guard Intercessor Squad, and we're now seeing the consolidate move. What I'll be interested to see is whether or not Soli uses the strat to fight twice with those bloodletters to get an extra 3-inch pile in and then 3-inch consolidate to wrap someone. Because those
wrapping.
Well, he's currently not wrapping anyone, is my point. So those bloodletters are, if he doesn't use that strat to fight twice with the bloodletters, which is 3 CP, those bloodletters are dead. They're just So it's basically I'm paying 3 CP to keep these bloodletters alive, or they're dead, and I'm okay with that.
I think wrapping into 9 intercessors means that they're going to die anyway.
Potentially. I think it comes down to your angles. So if he was to, for example, play the fight twice strat and move these parts of the bloodletters up and try and wrap 1 or 2 of these dudes up the top, that 9-man squad, which is strung back, doesn't all get to strike. So Simon says hi. He shouldn't fight again. He will lose too many to combat, then another 2 CP to stay for leadership. I don't know. I'm looking at it. Look, not all 9 are going to get a hit, right? So he's going to, if he was able to get in and wrap this one model, then Kieran's going to get to pile in and probably hit with these ones. So I reckon Kieren will get to hit with 4, maybe 5. But I reckon it's 4. Does 4... How many does 4 chew through?
It's not so much that, it's just options plus. Like shoot something else and then just countercharge him with the units for the sake of charging in.
Yeah, but so...
Did he, like...
As he's suggesting, he'd rather him just waste his shots. Look, well, sure. I mean, he's still got the second Bloodletter Bomb and the Zangor Bomb to Dark Matter Crystal. And those Plague Bearers are fairly deep in the lines. So, look, maybe he can just deal with losing those Bloodletters and just, who cares? That's definitely an option.
Don't actually feel that the Bloodletters, like, yeah, they pick up intercessors like butter when they hit, but this is the problem. It's like now they're stuck there, so it's like he's basically trading 20 Bloodletters for 10 intercessors.
Yeah, I see your point.
Too many times.
Yeah, I guess you. All right, so if he was, let's I guess talk that through. If he was to play that strat, he'd move up, he'd wrap a dude. Kieren would get to hit with like, I'm gonna say 4. Looking at the table, I reckon 4 intercessors will get to hit. He'll pick up a number of Bloodletters. Then Kieren will have his turn, and the rest of the army will have 0 shooting targets. So they'll either do nothing, they'll charge into something, or and whereas the rest of that intercessor squad will then pile in and probably pick up the rest of the Bloodletters. So I guess you could argue he's going to deal with the Bloodletters anyway. So what's the point of wasting the CP? Yeah. No, I see your point. I guess.
Well, I was talking more in Bloodletters in this matchup, more in general.
Yeah.
Which seem like scary, but when you actually look how it works, it's like he came in and dealt with 1 unit, and now he's going to lose his unit.
Yeah, so the Intercessor squad is 186 points, and the Bloodletter squad is 165 points. Now, I'm not saying that that a pure points trade is an exact, indication of whether or not it's a good or a bad trade. But at least he's pointing up.
And this turn now, if Kieren is out of CP, this is a very good turn for the fact that there's no interrupt. So even if he clears the Bloodletters out of there, if he's not moving back, it's like he's just going to lock the second Bloodletter unit there, and now there's 2 units that he can actually, because the first time he didn't have to declare as a target because only 1 unit was in 12. Whereas now he's that condensed because he's pushing him in. Unit, so that fight attack strat on the second unit of Bloodletters yet to come in is going to be a lot more useful. Watch. There's no interrupt you.
Yeah, I think it once again it comes back also to the mission format. So this is not ITC, which we've been streaming a lot of late. So ITC, if he was to play that strat, like I was suggesting, and push forward, I don't reckon he would actually, he would have to throw in another intercessor squad to actually pick him up, I think, to get the kill one for that turn. So playing that strat could potentially force Kieren to push for getting 1 point, whereas in an Eternal War end of game scoring, it doesn't matter whether or not you pick up the unit in this turn or next turn. So I think the mission format's quite relevant. Also, McGowan, I think this comment from the chat probably is better thrown out your way. Beefy Kent has asked where he can get some pickup games in Brisbane area. He's been out for ages and trying to find where to go. So far, it seems like the tawny scene is popping off, but the game store scene is pretty quiet, if not dead, in a lot of places. So where in Bris Vegas can you get pickup games?
Eric's house was very good.
Eric's house. Should we post his address just in the chat?
Yeah, I'll put it up later, and his phone number too. No, so in regards to Brisbane, so we've got a couple of new stores. It depends on where he is. A lot of people say Brisbane, but that could be a difference of 45 minutes between 2 points. So we've got the Championship store in Marrickville. So if you're fairly new or coming back, that might be good. You might actually see some old faces there.
So he's just said he's in the north side, but he's happy to drive.
Yeah.
I feel like a talkback radio announcer.
Best that you can go to is
there's a
actually
Facebook group, isn't there?
a Facebook group called QLD 40K. If you type that in, you should be able to find us, and then you can post up that, and I'll get a couple of boys to on the north side to reply to you.
That's the QLD 40K tournaments. I'll chuck. I think we've got links turned off in the chat, but I have the power. So I've just chucked a link in the chat for you for the Queensland 40K tournaments, and also if you are looking for tournaments in your area, you can find on Down Under Pairings. You can search for events by location. And because we don't discriminate over here at the Down Under Network, you can also check on Best Coast Pairings as well to see if there are any events in your area. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you might also look on Tawny Keeper or Tabletop TO. But Facebook, I find, is the easiest method of finding events in your area. There's usually a Facebook group that specifically is discussing events in your area. Sometimes if you're not in that area, it's a little hard to find the Facebook group. So it's asking the right questions. But so I'm from Melbourne in Victoria. If I was interested in playing Queensland events, I would want to look at that Queensland 40K tournament group. The trick is finding it, and the best place is just ask people. This community is pretty solid at helping a brother or a sister out in their hobby desires. So if you are looking for pickup games, you just got a general question about the 40K or wargaming community, reach out. There's a ton of Facebook groups, and if you're listening to me say this, then you obviously know of Down Under Network. Feel free to reach out to us, and we'll point you in the right direction if we know it. All right.
So how long's Down Under Pairings been going for now, Div?
So Down Under Pairings started in 2014. It had a different name back then. It was the Community Comp Terminal. And we specifically designed it for. I designed it for tournaments I was involved in, and then it grew and rebranded to Down Under Pairings a year or two ago. But yeah, it's been going strong in the ANZ space. So if you are a tournament organizer and you are looking to make your life a hell of a lot easier, drop us a line either at Down Under Network or Down Under Pairings. And if you've got any questions, we are happy to help out. You can register your events and do everything yourself. We've got a whole bunch of videos and tutorials how to do it. And we're in the process of working out exactly the order I want to do it, but we're going to be putting out a couple of videos which are how to set up an ETC and how to set up an ITC event in less than 5 minutes, including all rounds, custom mission sheets, the whole lot. So watch that space. And where can we hear your sultry tones? Hey, are you on any podcasts these days? You putting out any content? Or just joining us over here on the Down Under Network?
Doing me?
I was.
Alright. Nah, so I plan on doing this a lot more. But we used to see, I'm one of the guys that actually run the Queensland 40K page. But since pretty much DUP, we're getting a lot of guys up here in Queensland and everywhere starting to actually utilise DUP to its full extent of like getting events registered.
Yep.
It's one of the best tools, and because it's everyone else doing the work, it's a lot better user friendly. You know, because it's like other guys are uploading it for you. So, you know, I used to do spreadsheets and dates and cross-reference, whereas everyone can go there and go, I want to run an event. You can go on DUP, see what's around it, so you're not clashing. You know, you put your event up and then it's good to go. And it also shows you interstate interest as well.
Yep.
So, like, I might like a date for a Queensland event, but you go, well, hang on, a very big tournament, you know, in Melbourne's happening that weekend. So probably not that weekend because I might have 10 or 15 of my regulars travel for it.
Yeah, because there's a Queensland
like
event. There's a Queensland event coming up. Is it? It might even be Masters. Is it on the 7th and 8th of December?
I made the Masters at the same time as your Masters. As in, sorry, the New South Wales Masters.
Yeah. Because you know, one
Field
of
the Blood.
Yeah, because you know, Kieren has qualified for both the New South Wales Masters and Queensland Masters, so he has to decide which one he's going to. So I'm fairly confident I hold the title of the only, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here. If you know, I don't like claiming a title I don't actually have, but I'm the only Australian to win a state Masters that wasn't my state. So Vic Masters, which is running this weekend, you could see someone not from Victoria take it out. But it is an open event. Queensland Masters and New South Wales Masters are they're like the last frontier, if you will, of invite Masters events. Well, obviously ANZ Masters itself. But to get an invite to Queensland Masters, you have to play in how many Queensland events? Is it 3?
So you're going to go to 3. And you can score an invite if you win a Queensland event. But the rest is all trickle down through our rankings.
Yep. Yeah, so...
First couple of spots to how many events we got. Like if it's a comparable, like I'm not doing 8 mans, but like I think it's 12 minimum and above.
Yep.
If you win first at that event, you'll score an invite. But you got to play in 3. So as you said, like Kieren has come up and supported our scene 3 times throughout the year.
Yeah, good on him.
So yes, he definitely did. He definitely did earn an invite in our meta.
And it's worth pointing out there are Queensland players, and it's not a Queensland thing. Victoria has the same thing in most other states. There'll be plenty of Queensland players who haven't played 3 Queensland events.
100%, yeah.
Like it's.
We had last year. We had 150 Queenslanders playing Queensland in events because DUP is really good for stats. I can check all this shit. So, but 60 to 70 that played 2+.
Yeah.
Eric. Yeah, so it's one of those things where Queensland's very much they'll come out. You know, everyone drapes out of the woodworks, but our core playing thing is probably around about the 50-60 mark that you could expect to see at a tournament regularly.
Yep. So we have a little prize to give away this weekend. I've gone through my hobby box and tried to find something that it's not impossible to get, but a little harder to get. So we have up for grabs one of the Death Card Space Marine Heroes boxes. I don't know which one it is, and I'm going to keep it that way until we give it away. I think that adds a little bit of suspense. So I'll throw it out to the chat, and I'll throw it out to you as well, Josh. Who do you think we should give it to, and why? Not specifically the person, but how we get it. Is it based on best comment? The most interactive chatter? Is it chat prize? What are your thoughts, Josh?
I'm a bit of an arsehole when it comes to this, and recognise how much work you and Adam put into DUP. So I'd like it to go to the guys who give you the most amount of bids. But for the sake of the chat and contribution, yeah, I think the best call of the day, or maybe a prediction of how the games are going. The one who lines up the most amount of predictions based like earlier on for your games.
Yep.
If they're tuning in all day and watching the games.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think contributing to the chat, because it's one of those things. You guys are, well, some of you, the 15 viewers we have right now, and the ones that we'll get after the fact. We're an hour and a half into the round, and we are on turn 2. I haven't updated that, but that's okay. I'll update that shortly. There's a lot of. If we just commentated about the game, there's dead air. There's a lot of dead air. So it's good to have good chats coming through, good questions. Even if that's simply just saying how good looking we are. Totally panics. Slow play. That's a good comment. It's not a good comment. So,
all right. So I do want to go back to the game for a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
Because this is coming into the crunch thing. So I think Kieren is either assaulting, or he's moving models. So I'm guessing he's and stuff like that. So it looks like he's tagged the Steelers, but he's keeping the majority of the models outside of an inch, so he doesn't attack them. Firepower, and then he'll basically just cop it on the chin. But with that, on the right-hand side, it doesn't look like he's improved his position much for the other bloodletter bomb to come in, like it did in the previous turn.
I've just moved over to the table. So basically we've got the one unit of the Raven Guard has stretched out a little bit to peek out around that corner. But it looks like we've got 2, 4, 7 bloodletters left.
And that was just a charge on the Plague Beast Crawler near Objective 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they're just discussing about moving through models. Don't do it. Yeah. So far we have in that ruin that was his home base, if you will, in that bottom left-hand corner, right up against the wall, we have Ironman and Khan hiding in that bottom level, and obviously you can see the 2 princes. And then
this is near Objective 3, yep.
That is, yeah, Objective 3. The Zangor bomb is still in that bottom right-hand corner. They haven't moved. So I think he's trying to work out the movement phase. Top phase. Yeah. Yeah. So second movement phase. So basically, Kieren shot the bloodletter bomb down to 2, 4, 6, 7 models, and he's just trying to work out how far he can stretch with that charge move. So Matt reckons that he's pretty much kept him into that space. He's not going to be able to get to that Objective 4, which is over on the right-hand side of the screen. So I think we're just going to end up with a position where those bloodletters are going to go down in the combat phase. And some wrap. Kieren has charged that Plague Burst Crawler from behind the wall and wrapped it. So looks like that Plague Burst Crawler's wrapped. It ain't getting out or shooting. Turn. I'll be interested to see how many. I don't think it's those Plague Bearers. But if Kieren doesn't start pushing out now, he's not going to have enough models left. Because if Morosoli is able to drop turn 3 with those bloodletters, and keep him pushed back, Kieren needed to push out outside of that ruin wall, in my opinion. Not only for the Overwatch, but
also history doesn't repeat itself.
Well, yeah. Well, history doesn't repeat itself, so yeah, it means he can Overwatch those bloodletters. But also he can start pushing those the 3 objectives on the right-hand side of the screen. So from the camera, you can see objective 4. Objective 6 is, I think, blocked. So I'm just going to point it out. It's at the top right-hand corner of the screen under that building.
Yep.
And you can yeah, 2 is the bottom right-hand corner. So right now, Kieren is on 2 objectives, which is objective 5 and objective 1. And Matt is in a position to take up all other 4.
Number 4, it looks like the Zangors are just spreading out. Because now pretty much most of Kieren's army is now lost.
Yeah. So
I've just got to answer some quickly. So how many CP left? So on the right-hand side near the data card, you'll see 6 green dice. That's Soli's CP pool. Stuff that they can hear, Steph?
Yep.
Eric's just went in before Warp Time Khan comes flying through. You're a Khan friend? Like you're a Khan the Betrayer fan, so it's just like little sneaky stuff like that where I like.
Yeah. I am a big Khan fan. He's just one of those, like, he's a character that has character, if that makes sense. Yeah.
What shall go against Intercessors?
Well. My iPad's currently being used for the stream table, so I can't bring up the codex to the exact stat, but he's got like 7 attacks, hitting on 2s. You know what? I'll start.
You can also Diabolic Strength him as well for an extra attack. He would have got an extra attack with the update that happened in August. This mini Space Marine.
Oh yeah.
They call it something else. It's not Devastating Charge or whatever it is. It's something else. But basically, they get +1 attack like Marines do in the first round of combat.
Yeah, because Khan needs it.
Extra +2 strength and another attack from that as well.
Khan in Battle Scribe.
It's probably an idea.
Here we go. So his stat, Khan has 4 attacks base. Gorechild is +1 strength, AP 2, melee, and Armor Bane. So Armor Bane, blah blah blah. This has got counterattack, champion, shitload of rules. Furious Charge, he gets +1 to his strength characteristic. Rage, he gets +2 attacks for charging, rather than. No, this is an old one. Just completely ignore me.
I was just letting you fill in time, but I'm like, Armor Bane. I'm like, are we looking at a 7th edition?
Mate, it's the.
I was reminiscing. I was reliving my childhood.
Fun fact. It was the 7th edition. This is the spare iPad that we have for the stream table, and it doesn't get software updates at all.
You forge your narrative, mate. You play him however you want.
I should ask him whether if he's playing the 7th edition or 8th edition rules.
Jeez.
All right, so the Hellblasters are wrapping. So the Hellblasters wrap the Plagueburst Crawler near Objective 1, and have now wrapped it. And the Blue Dragon Intercessors are going to go punch some Bloodletters.
Looking very. I'm now seeing 3 units of that.
Where?
Bloodletter unit can now declare when it arrives. the way that he's being moved and the way Matt's taken out his casualties to funnel him into his consolidations in a certain way.
Yeah,
He's got plenty of strats. Kieren has nothing to interrupt, so he's going to be able to go in, attack twice, do all that, and get lots amounts of movement and pick up a lot of intercessors on that right flank.
So,
and like you said, you got Ahriman and Khan tucked under where objective 3 is 2 princes, so it doesn't matter how many combat.
Yeah, one of the things that's quite interesting, I think, play that Plague Burst Crawler with the Hellblast is the nail in the coffin for Kieren. Because right now, the Bloodletter Bomb and the Zangor Bomb can drop in of the table and charge the remaining 2. So the black back towards Plague Burst Crawler, the blue Intercessor Squad, and the Hellblasters. Like, there is a perfect funnel where it looks like you would set a trap for someone to go, this is where you should charge. It ain't a trap, but that's
how it works.
That's a misplay, I think.
And that's how Soli's casualties have been coming out.
No,
that's why he was talking about moving certain ways.
Yeah, the misplay I'm suggesting though is the Hellblasters. I'm not sure why the Hellblasters charged and wrapped that Plague Burst Crawler. He could have done it with a different unit. Give solely 3 units, so 2 units of Intercessors and 1 unit of Hellblasters to drop 2 bombs on.
Yeah, so I don't know if Hellblasters have Melter Bombs or anything, but yeah, so you sort of normally wrap to stop the unit from getting shot, not getting assaulted.
But it's worth pointing out that when he wraps that Plague Burst Crawler, he has also tapped the so even if he does manage to kill the Plague Burst Crawler, he's in combat.
But yeah, putting his Hellblasters into combat, you go, cool. But I'm like, Psychic Powers don't rules, so they're going to get, if Mallet just wants to unload mortal wounds into that squad, he can. You know, it's just like, as you said, he doesn't shoot. Like, there's only one other Plague Burst Crawler that you care about. I don't know if he's just thinking, I'll negate that one shooting.
Yeah. I'm not sure if... Comes back to my previous comment of Kieren list versus Matt running the same list over and over and over. You get a situation where Matt can make these relatively strong plays come back on someone else's plays, whereas Kieren doesn't know his own well enough. And that's not saying anything negative to Kieren. That's what happens when you chop and change lists a lot.
He's earned an invite to 3 different States Masters. Kicking out, a completely another idiot. It's a case of going. Like you said, how many times do you think Matt's been in this situation with this list?
Lot.
Like, he's well practiced. He knows how everything goes. He's removing his casualties to funnel movement in the consolidation phase. Like he's doing everything just textbook. And it's very hard.
Ow.
So you guys like stuff. So what do you guys think in the chat? Like, what do you think he's going to come down? You reckon we're predicting it well enough? Because also on the left-hand flank, you've got remnants of other squads out the back as well. Just moving into Matt's turn, so he's putting something onto that objective. Think about the positioning of the princes and Khan and Araman. Oh. Bring up the list. I'm not sure if. Yeah, so he's only got one more Bloodletter Bomb because the Zangors that we keep talking about as a bomb is actually in the right-hand corner there. So his princes have Warp, Dark Matter Crystal. So they're a bit, I think, to contribute. So he's basically just walking up the board. Matter Crystal, Prince across there if you need to, or whatnot. Definitely buffering out from that and then just keeping him pinned in. But he's pinning himself in by going into the combats and whatnot. At the end of this movement phase, we'll see, because this is, I think, Soli's turn 3. So, unless we've fade. Cultist that's been out the back behind the thing, just getting on an objective this turn. So they might be knowing that this might be the last turn because they took, almost an hour and a half for deployment and, one player's first turn.
So time-wise, I'm back, guys. So Kieren has 32 minutes and Soli has 46. So we've got plenty of time. Like this.
Okay.
Yeah. They've got reasonably long rounds.
This is 3-hour rounds, is it?
Probably. What Victoria tends to do a fair bit of. So just to bring you guys up to speed, the mission is a little different, and there was just an announcement because there was a title on one of the players that was handed out. The way they're doing it is it's Eternal War, Kill Point, and Maelstrom. So think ETC. Kill Point is the differential, Maelstrom is the differential, and Eternal War is the differential.
Oh,
so
nice.
what does that mean? So currently, Matt is on 10 Maelstrom to 2. He is on 8, and Kieren is on 0. Does that make sense? So basically what you do is you get the person with the highest points in one of those brackets, minus is the opponent, and they get that many points capped at 9. So I'm just going to update that now on the scorecard.
You then...
Yep, you go.
Then in turn add all 3 together to get a final score out of 20, or... Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, it's not out of 20, you then do the victory, then the ETC victory point differential. So,
cool.
So for those that are more familiar with ITC and less familiar with ETC, this mission at first glance, so this mission format at first glance sounds a little bit more complicated to do the math, but it's a very balanced format. So basically what happens is there are 3 different mission styles going on at the same time, which we've just discussed. It's Eternal War, so end of game scoring. It's Kill Points, so units killed during the game, and Maelstrom of War, so cards. Each one of those, including the Kill Points, once again, highest number of points in that category get theirs less their opponents. So currently, cards-wise, Matt Morosoli on stream has scored 10 Maelstrom points and Kieren has scored 2. So, as a differential, because Matt has more, it is 10 minus 2 and 8. If Matt was on 20 Maelstrom to 2, it would have been 20 minus 2, but capped at 9. You then add each one of those categories together, adding in First Strike, Line Breaker, and Slay the Warlord. And then there is a victory point differential. So depending on how hard you beat your opponent dictates your score between 0 and 20. One of the downsides of this mission format is, yes, there's a little bit of complexity in how you score. One of the benefits of using Down Under Pairings is players just put in their victory points, it works it out, tells you a score out of 20. It does all the heavy lifting for the players. So get on it.
You can't really stuff it up. Like, I've been doing TO, like, we've both been doing TO for events for years. How many times? It doesn't matter how you do it. You like, write this down. Whereas you go, the good thing that DUP is just like, no, what'd you get? Just type that in.
Yeah.
And it's all done.
Yeah.
Like, phenomenal. Amount of times I'm sitting there with pieces of paper and I've got two players just arguing with each other, going, no, I got this, and no, I think it's this. Like, what did you actually get? It's the beauty of it.
So I've just walked over to JB Painting, so one of our hobby content lads from Victoria. He is playing a Chaos list versus Stuart the Kid Trainer's Tyrannid with some GSC. So Jared is running Renegade Knight, three of the Dreadnought, Dorito Dreadnought, Disco Lords, Disco. There is a lot of nibs still on the table. But Jared borrowed a bunch of models. It's not his usual stuff that we see.
Alright, so he did go for the funnel.
He went for the funnel?
He's got that last bloodletter bomb down exactly where you said. I think it's dead on where you put it. That's Khan going in?
Khan's in. So so basically there was a funnel made with the Plague Bearers for Khan to get in against the intercessors.
He's just nominated everything?
Yeah, he did. He rolled 3 dice for the charge with those bloodletters. He rolled a 1, a 1, and a 2. Morosoli is he's not happy with that roll. He rolled he rolled a 1, a 1, and a 2. CP re-rolled the 1, or one of the ones, got a 4, and so was just out of range, unfortunately.
I rolled 3 1.
It was a 1 and a 1 and a 2. Yeah. Don't let facts get in the way of a good story, my friend. Right. He said, I just rolled 3 1s. And I'm like, I saw it. It was
classic Sol.
It was a shit dice roll, don't get me wrong.
You go, why are you rolling dice then? Because, 6 plus 1 is not 8.
6 plus 1 is not 8.
Can't get in because you're 9 inches plus 1 per banner.
Oh, yeah,
you need an 8 minimum. That's why when you go and average a 3d6 is 11. You should be making charges, but when you said, they went in, of course they do. I'm like, not always.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I proved me right.
Horrible, but yeah.
7th edition rules up.
Oh, okay.
With Khan going in there, and then him wanting to keep units in with that Plague Bearer crawler, if Matt changes his target priority and just wipes out intercessors, Khan's still wrapped in Plague Bearers. Still in combat with the Hellblasters, and he can't, shoot them. So it only opens up 2 squads of intercessors with Plague Bearers and Bloodletters to shoot. And you got Khan, and you got 2 princes there. So it's not all doom and gloom at this point.
It's one of those things where I felt that good game. Like, you could have just been... Yeah. And so what I'm surprised to not see, is you'll notice Zangor's... I would have dark matted them in, and at that point, you're charging with 2 units, so then both need to fail.
The problem being, Diff, is what I was trying to get at in the earlier of the game. The Dark Matter Crystal's on one of those princes.
Yeah.
So it's actually a short range, so the prince needs to be over in that corner with them for him to Dark Matter.
Yeah. Fair point.
But Eric also noted in the chat that he's probably just saving it to turn 4 if he needs it.
Yeah.
Because you've got a Plague Bear's Caller over there. You've got Warp Time on a Prince. 10 Cultists just spread out to Objective 4 anyway.
Yeah, so the Cultists,
So it's like
the Cultists are currently on Objective 2 and Objective 4. The Zangle Hunger lining down the right-hand side of the table towards Objective 6 / Linebreaker.
I'll have to be back. My little one's just woke up from a nap.
No problem.
I'll be back.
I'll go back to the screen. Welcome back to the table.
And we're back. So that was a pretty devastating roll for Matt there. He is a fair way ahead on points, so we might see that it's just kind of like a no big deal, as it doesn't matter. But yeah, it really hurts when you've got that 3d6 charge, and you roll 2 1s and a 2. But as I said, what are you going to do? It's just tough sometimes. So because of the updated mission mid-round, effectively, but to be confirmed that everything is differentials. The score sheet down the bottom is fairly irrelevant. Relevant's not the right word. It's a little harder to keep track of the actual scores, but we will see how we go. So Khan went in and took out some of those intercessors in the center of the table. So let me just bring that up. So Khan took out some of those intercessors that were around there. He hasn't finished the squad. There's still 2 or 3 left. Why is the stream shaking? I'm getting semi-sick. Apologies, guys. The camera is above the table on a rig. I'll just spin that around for a second. So you might be able to see the rig on top of the table. These lads are heavily leaning on that table, so it shakes it. It's interesting. We've been doing this format for quite some time, and on the most part, we don't have issues. Soli tends to lean on the table, and it is what it is. So, Ez, what are your thoughts now with that Bloodletter Bomb failing the charge? So you've said that you still think Matt's fine. He'll just have to start putting pressure on with the princes. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the princes will just have to get a bit more aggressive. But the downside is just how far back they are. I'm not 100% certain why the 2 princes and Ahriman are just so deep in the backfield. The Plague Bearers were a pretty useful screen. I don't know why they had to go, as I said, go that far back. Could have been that one of the librarians was still alive when he moved back. I don't think that's the case. But, he could have been trying to just stay out of deny range for some of those powers. Yeah, I think those princes. It's interesting, depending on which powers he's gone on the princes and which one has the dark matter crystal. I can see the idea of moving those princes back into some form of range, or just to potentially be more effective on that right-hand side of the table. I'm just going to bring up some of those rules. Sniper stratagem for all those Stalker bolt rifles. He might be wary of that. Yeah, look, it could be. Just a lot of those Stalker rifles were wrapped up. But it's a fair point, you know. He could be wary of that. But I think from my perspective, those Ahriman at least could have been out of line of sight relatively easily, and I think those princes. I don't know. It's hard to say, but he's put himself in a position where Matt then has to push them forward in turn 4. Yeah, Ez raised a fair point. When Matt started pushing backwards, Kieren was already out of CP, so yeah, I can't.
Just super confident.
Yeah, he could have just thought, I don't need them, but
Believe the bloodless are in. Don't worry about it. I'll pull my boys back to me. Give himself a belly touch.
Yeah,
I don't know. Look, there is warp time there, so he might be stretching out to 4.
Yeah, I think
pushing Prince out to 4 to reinforce
it's just a
the
mistake.
flank.
I just think it's a mistake.
Yeah,
is what it comes down to, which is a fairly. It kind of contradicts my points earlier of Morosoli playing this list so many times that he'd make less mistakes, but turns out I could be wrong there.
it's one of those things where you go. We were talking when you were roaming. We're talking to the chat and stuff like that. We're talking about pushing the princes up, into the combat with the Khan and all that, because regardless, he's still got the Plague Bearers. He's still sitting on 4 CP. He can still roll his inbound save by 1, so on and so forth. Like, I don't think Kieren has enough left to, because I'm counting the Plague Bearers, he's above the mark to, all that sort of jazz. So
yeah, for sure.
I think it would have been smarter to put the princes and Ahriman up in that pocket, because nothing else is touching it. He's got 2 princes that can go anywhere on the board.
I'm surprised to see with Soli is, look at those Zangors that have kind of double conga lined up on the right hand side. So it's pretty much 20 mans 2x2. I don't know why he hasn't done a more single trail. I mean, they're not really. Unless he was anticipating that Kieren was going to start to push out to that right-hand side, and he wants to send that unit down there. But I would have probably trailed at least a few back, so as if Soli wanted to, he could advance the Prince, Dark Matter Crystal, jump them over. I feel as though he's put himself in a position where...
it's all eggs one basket.
Yeah, and look, it's really hard to get in the head of a player. Eric has just pointed out Soli's probably holding out for a counter charge when Kieren reaches for those right hand side Eternal Wars, and that's potential. He could have just gone, I need a unit on the right hand side to discourage Kieren from potentially just conga lining a couple of models over to that objective in the top right hand corner. You can't just send one unit of intercessors kind of conga lined over, because you'll just get eaten by Zangors. So yeah,
Not to mention, princes can change their psychic powers throughout the game. It costs you CP.
yeah,
So he could warp time a prince without warp time. That way he still has access to warp time on two sides of the board.
yep,
CP if he needs it, he can, or that warp time's the dark matter crystal, then he's got the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. Like, it's all gravy.
yeah. But so it's Soli's turn. Oh, sorry, it was Soli's turn 3. I think we're into Kieran's turn, but if Soli then on Soli's turn 4, he's not going to get into a position where he can dark matter crystal in turn 4.
I know, but for turn 5, turn 6.
Yeah, I feel as, yeah, I would have done it earlier. I guess is my point. Kieren is.
I think most of us would have 2 demon princes in combat by now.
Yeah, probably. Does he have enough shooting to pick up all those letters? Tough one. He has currently got. Maybe not. Maybe not. The Hellblasters are still engaged, which leaves 2 squads of intercessors, and there's a ruin in the way for some of them. So he's not going to be able to see with those ones for sure, which isn't a huge number. So he's going to see with like 1, 2, 3, and then a handful over here.
9, 10 dead.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we're starting to. He's only picking up 1 or 2. There you go. He's picked up 1 bloodletter. So to me, that looks like Kieren just shot a unit. No, I can't tell you which unit it is right now, but a unit at the bloodletters and only killed 1 model. Ez says Calm will legit kill everything if Kieren can put him or can't put him down now. Well, he's got no way of doing it. He's got 0 ability of taking out Khan right now. I think there's a potential. No, so Khan is too far behind a unit of Plague Bearers. So there is a unit of Intercessors right here that I just don't think is going to be able to attack him. Now, I'll get back on roaming in a second. And see whether or not I can get a better look. Okay, sorry. There is a chaplain up the top here with a jump pack that is looking at charging. And he's trying to charge into that gap. How's a chaplain go against Khan? Well enough. Yeah, well enough. I think there can. I think he's not going to fit. I think he declared both the Plague Bearers and the Ankarn in case, in case he couldn't quite get in. He had to kind of clear the back of his base. Had to clear Khan, which was a relatively large charge there.
And Kieran's just declared both the letters and the.
Yeah, so shooting wise, he has not done much. So Kieren is declared a charge against the cultists. So it looks like he's going to hit the cultists and the bloodletters, I think. But Kieren has to be careful here because those bloodletters are in a position where a huge chunk of them are going to get to hit. And to do what Kieren wants to, or to achieve what Kieren wants to achieve, if he taps those bloodletters at all, at best, he's got 2. If I'm looking at it right, he's got 2 Marines that can hit those bloodletters. in which case they don't kill enough. He piles in and then destroys them. I'm definitely going to get on that roam because it's hard to tell just right now. There's one Marine in the center of the table. I've just circled the bad boy. Just whether or not he's quite in range of engaging those bloodletters. He's still got the chance, obviously, of the 3-inch pile-in because he's only done the charge move at this stage. But it could be if he doesn't put enough models into that bloodletter unit and leaves too many of them alive, those bloodletters might not kill the entire intercessor squad in Matt's turn, but he'll do a solid effort of dropping them in Kieren's turn.
Right. So, is that a lieutenant? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, the chaplain went in, and he has a power fist. He's going into the plague bearers. The lieutenant is the blue guy, which Khan just heroically intervened into, who actually also has a power fist. Went in. And Kieren didn't realise that Khan had a 4+ vulnerable save. Are you done? All right, 1 second. We're just going to be joined by the lovely.
Well, hello, lovelies. How are we doing out there?
Hello.
I can hear you too. And that's Mr. McGowan.
How you doing, mate? How'd you go?
I did better than I should have. So I played against, I think Diffy's probably getting a rundown, but I played against a pretty scary Iron Hands list. Really good. Do you know the radios that give the 5+ invuln in the bubble? He was running that around with 2...
Doritos.
Sorry?
The nacho cheese Doritos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he was running those around with 2 Redemptors next to it, so they all had the 5+ invuln, and then it was actually really good. Really good list. Two Repulsor Executioners, 2 Redemptors, a Derrideo, 2 Thunderfires.
All right, I'm just going to interrupt you there, my friend. So the bloodletters have piled in, and all but 3 are going to get to hit.
Yep.
So I am putting money on this blue intercessor squad just disappearing.
Wow.
Well, they should do. It's a free unit, essentially.
Yeah.
So what's the score looking like in this one so far, boys?
I'll see if I can have a look, because halfway through they worked out it was differentials.
Yeah.
So currently,
that made a huge difference.
Matt is on full for Maelstrom. Let me just. Yeah, Matt is full for Maelstrom. The order is kind of out of sequence on the scorecard. I'll have that fixed for next round. He's full for Maelstrom. Kill point differential, I think they are updating as they go. So
Matt's up by a bunch.
Head on that. This is going to be a big win.
Big win
to Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kieren's army is pretty powerful, but it just shows there's still a lot of strength left in this Chaos archetype Soli's playing.
Yeah, I think the big deal is the way the two ruins that Matt has really Matt has really utilized the terrain like perfectly.
Yep.
So in the top right hand corner ish, or more centery, where objective 5 is, that piece of ruin Turn 2, dropped the bloodletter unit, charged from behind the wall, no Overwatch, took out interceptors.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Kieran's playing.
turn
He's got
3,
30 intercessors in this army, yeah?
he's got 50 intercessors.
50, okay.
30 of them are Raven Guard.
I'll tell you what.
20 are Salamanders.
Do you know what absolutely mulligans the tits off a unit of intercessors? 30 bloodletters. 20 bloodletters. Just.
Well,
go on. That is ferocious. What about Morosoli? Because I mean, it's a good. This is a good table for both players, but I think it probably favors Soli a little bit more, just because he needs it more than Kieren does.
Also, it comes down to how Kieren deployed. So Kieren deployed in a triangle base, which in itself wasn't necessarily wrong, but he never pushed out to the outside of that ruin on the right-hand side near Objective 5. And so Matt has been able to utilize that ruin.
So the triangle he does, is that because he's running the Salamanders, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he wants to be able to, he wants to put it in a diamond and then chuck a in turn 1, Salamander's character in front, and then block everything behind.
Well, yeah, but the problem is, and this is I've made this comment a couple of times now, but I'll reiterate it.
He's not playing against a shooting army. Soli's not a shooting army. He doesn't give a shit if you can't shoot him.
So this list, so Kieren's played this is Kieren's 27th tournament this year.
Wow.
27. Okay.
What the?
I believe this is the first time he's used this list at a tournament.
So I played him last weekend with a variant of this list, Salamanders and Raven Guard.
Oh, was similar?
Yeah, he didn't.
But he would have been a small number of games.
He didn't have the 50 intercessors. It didn't happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but so what would have happened is he would have been going, okay, this is how I deploy this army. All right, and I deploy it in a triangle.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had enough games to go, well, all right, that's not how I deploy against.
To get flexibility, to know the nuance and what he can and can't do.
Yeah.
Man, I love 40k. 40k's mad. McGowan, you still here?
Yeah.
How good's 40k, McGowan? Is McGowan actually here?
He is. He's on kitty duty.
Oh, he's baby duty. He's jumping in and jumping out. Looks like some interest. What are the other notable games? We got any other big games going? I know we got Lee Abbey versus Sam Peter. That is a decent one. And what else we got? We have Tristan Dome. Yeah, I don't know who he's playing. We've got Jared Brehort playing. Jared Brehort playing Stuart Trainer. That's
Yeah, I went over there a little earlier. So Jared has the Chaos variety of the Nacho Cheese Dreadnought.
Yeah.
He had a Renegade. He had half tent.
Yep.
A Renegade Knight.
And he had Disco Lords, didn't he?
And he had 3. Yeah. And once again, half tent had 3 Disco Lords.
So he has no Knights, no Lord Discos.
Currently, Jared has 3 Nacho Cheese Dreadnoughts left and a couple of Chaos Marines. The other is Jeremy Martino. He's not looking that good.
Against Terrence Drew.
He is playing against, I'm assuming, Iron Hands.
Yep.
With 3 Thunderfires.
Okay. And Jeremy just dropped
2 to 3 Dreadnought.
Jeremy just dropped his Thunderfires. Big mistake. Jeremy's actually running a pure Deathwatch army, which we're all very interested to see how that goes and what he can do with it. I think he's telling...
So Jez is up on points, but he goes, obviously I've got no models left.
Sick.
Yeah.
So we got some questions in the chat. I did end up getting the win, guys. I ended up getting an 18-2 win, which I am exceptionally happy, seeing as this is my first time running guard in a long time. Running pure guard is still brand new to me, but it turns out the same shit still works. So, and Bulgrin are amazing against repulsors. Getting the +1 save and then going to ground, so you have a 2+ save against all the -1 from the Iron Hands, and you have a 3+ invuln against the big gun. And so every turn I was using a CP to reroll one of the 3-up invulns because I was failing one of them usually. And my Bulgrin held up for 4 turns against all his firepower, and then I just rolled a shit ton of 1s, and they all fell apart. But it was okay. I'd already gotten up on the points. So literally, just that unit of Bulgrins kept me in the game. Yep.
Dick. Another game that's currently going is Josh Brody. So Josh has come down with Kieren from New South Wales.
Yep.
When I say come down with Kieren, he trained, Kieren flew.
Wow, okay.
Kieran's had enough of training with all the 27 events.
27 events. That's all. So we got to find out if there's actually anybody in there's definitely no one in Australia who's done more events than Kieren. But let's find out in the world.
No,
what do you reckon? In the world? We'll hit up Peter the Falcon.
It's hard. Yeah, we'll hit him up. So Josh Brody's running Demons.
Yep.
He brought like 5,000 points of Demons. He's got
summoning.
Reinforcement points.
Yep.
But he was playing against 4 Knights and Admech.
Yep.
There's no Knights left.
Okay. Well, has he got the Corn Prince?
Josh still has 3 Demon Princes.
Oof. Yeah, that's a paddling.
Hard to say. He might stuff. Corn Prince?
No Corn Prince. Wow.
Sorry? Karanak?
He doesn't kill Knights.
I might need to ask. Karanak doesn't kill Knights, does he? What's killed the 4 Knights? Might. Okay, just do it the hard way.
Yeah, the hard. Well,
it
essentially it's the easy way because all you're doing is rolling 2 dice and dealing damage. It looks like Soli and Kieren are coming to a bit of the end of the road.
What we left? In that case, that's one.
Ooh, what a sleepy boy. Ah, sweet. That's good. I haven't eaten today.
All right, cool.
So, Oli has 1 CP left. I'll update that on the score sheet. They're doing leadership. Bloodlet has lost 1 dude.
Yep.
And he rolled the 1 on the leadership, getting D6 back.
Poor form, Soli. For shame.
Hey mate, you missed it though before. He dropped the bloodletters, that unit, smash bang in the middle of Kieran's army, ready to multi-charge 3 units and say good night. 3 to 6 charge, 1-1-2. CP rerolls one of the 1s, rolls a 4, fails the charge. I believe Soli's just said BDE for Khan.
He's having a good time. Man, we're picking up a lot of. So you're getting a little bit of feedback when you talk.
From you?
Yeah, it's probably because I'm picking it up here.
Is it through the chat they're getting that?
Chat, can you please tell us if you're getting any feedback, any looping diffy? Looping diffy, it's new drive time with looping diffy.
You might just be getting in the headset.
True, yeah, that makes sense. That's why you're there and I'm here.
It's new gear. It's new gear.
Yeah, it's a new setup everywhere, guys. What has Kieren got left?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So let me give you a rundown of what's left. So on the left-hand side of the board for you guys, we have a unit of intercessors.
Yep.
That's trailing up. They're currently engaged with plague bearers. There is a chaplain who has, I believe, 1 wound left, who's currently engaged with Khan and the plague bearers. The Hellblasters are pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. They're pretty close to full strength. They're currently engaged with plague bearers and the plague bearers crawler.
Okay.
And
so they're not doing
they're in the center. And then there's a unit of intercessors, the black squad they're going over to objective 5, who are I'm going to say engaged with the bloodletters.
Nice.
It is Soli's turn. and he's just flying those Demon Princes.
What turn are they up to?
Top left-hand corner. They're on turn 4. Let me update that for you guys.
There's a little hashtag in the chat right now that the Beast from the East has just chucked up. There might be a little window into the future. Or you might just be talking smack.
Sorry guys, I'm back.
Hey,
What's
Miguel.
the
Hashtag Art of War Australia.
Yeah, so give you a rundown of how the 3 Art of War players are here this weekend.
Yep. So it's me, Soli, and Martino.
Yeah, so you got to win.
Yep.
Jez is winning with having no models left.
Yeah.
So that could swing with the Eternal War part at the end.
And of course the variable,
but when I say
gun length as well.
Yeah, when I say he's got no models left, like he's still got like a model here and there, and they're all like on objectives hiding.
Okay.
But the problem is his opponent has 3 Thunderfires still.
Oh.
So those units don't hide for very
There's
long.
no hiding. And they're
then
iron
Soli
hands as well,
is
so
in a good position.
They're -2. Soli's got this. I can't see Soli losing from this point of the board. Mind you, there is just a big crack in the board now.
Yeah.
Well done, boys.
So check this out. So Khan was engaged with the chaplain.
Yep.
The 2 princes have gone to the left-hand side and taken out the chaplain.
Yep.
So Khan is now no longer engaged.
Oh.
He's then warp time Khan.
Oh.
I think he's saying that there wasn't room to actually. He's put Khan back.
So that's
And smited the. Yeah, he's smiting instead because there wasn't room to get Khan out.
Get Khan out, yeah.
He's blocked by the Plague Bearers.
And that's because this Khan is not on a 32, it's on a 40, because that's the one that he's going to complain to Dean Seaback after that. Because Dean's lent solely his Khan, and his Khan's on a 40 mil. So if it was on a 32, he probably gets through that crack.
Yeah.
Letting the team down, Dean. Letting Team Art of War down.
The price of borrowing models.
I know. I'm borrowing a crap load this event, and I really don't like borrowing models. But I just need to try stuff, and it's the only way I get to try stuff.
New year, new you.
That's right.
The other game of note.
No one else is going to do me.
The game of note is legendary Matt Jackson.
So former 2015 ETC player Matt Jackson versus our 2019 EastCon champion Rob Lane. That is a good game.
So Rob is playing the robot, the Necrons.
Necrons, yep.
And
Raven
he
guy.
has 3 Doomsday Arc bike. It doesn't look like he's lost much. Oh no, okay, he's lost it. Okay, apologies. Whereas Jackson, on the other hand, has a Tech Marine running around, a Librarian running around, and a Thunderfire Cannon.
He's got this.
So Jackson, I could be proven wrong, but I believe Jackson has 4 models left.
Yeah, and that'll just be a rep. So that's Matt Jackson playing his literal first game with Space Marines versus Rob Lane playing his 190th with Necrons. And that's actually just the difference there. Looks like we just had a handshake on the Lee Abbey versus Sam Peter game. So see if you can go get a score from there, man. But I thought that looked like a pretty commanding win to Lee.
I believe I've asked him to come over and have a chat.
Oh, he's on the way over now.
Give me
so I'll leave you two to it.
Give me a sec.
And you can jump in mine. Oh, you want me to interview him? Have a seat, brother. Have a sweet. This is Mr. Lee Abbey, 2020 ETC player. Also on the Victorian ATC team. Man of great renown and much accomplishment. Just a little bit of a stroke, slight stroke.
Feels good.
What was the score? What was the end result?
30 or whatever the max is.
Max, so 20-0.
20.
Yeah. I got an 18. So let's hope somebody gets a 19 and
that'd be good. Yeah.
Goes straight between us, and I'll see you later today.
Top table. You and me? Yeah.
No, last game of the day we got top table.
All right. Sounds
see if I
good.
can make it to another one. So how'd your list go? Because you're playing a variant of a list. So you got the Cracker Steelers in there. You got the Aberrants.
Yep.
How'd they perform?
Fantastic. I mean, luck-wise, really bad. I was just chatting with my opponent, Sam, and he was saying that he couldn't believe how bad the luck was, and yet the result was obviously very strong, which was quite a good test for my sort of ETC
Yeah.
learning.
Yep.
So first turn, he gave me first turn, and I went hard with the Steelers and the Aberrants. Made it across. I didn't even have to advance the Aberrants and hope for a.
What deployment did you get?
What was it? The Search and Destroy,
Quarters.
so table quarters,
Yeah.
and because in this format you can cross them off. So I crossed one off that I knew he probably wouldn't want the other one, and then he crossed that one off, and then I got table quarters, which was sick.
Amazing, because you're starting 18 away rather than the other two at 24.
Yeah, it was
So
fantastic.
you got extra 6 inch of reach.
Yeah, so I made it straight across the board. The Steelers, first time ever using Gene Steelers, they just vaped, 60 guardsmen or whatever. It was
Amazing.
mad.
Can they double attack?
Yes,
They can, so good.
So then I had all my pins first turn. He couldn't really do anything. Shot some mortars or whatever, it didn't matter. And then my turn 2, I just killed all the screens. He countercharged with his Libby Dread and the Smash Captain.
Yep.
But I used the Anointed Throng strat to fight when they die. Yeah, and they killed they killed the Libby Dread. But again, it took a billion attacks, and he just rolled really hot in the saves. But just got him on the last one.
Yep, nice.
So yeah, it's very good.
So Diff, you want to say something?
So Khan the Betrayer has, over the course of the game, not in that one phase, but in that phase, he killed 10 intercessors.
Jeez.
And in total, he has currently killed 17 intercessors and 2 characters.
What even is he?
Big dick energy from Khan the Betrayer.
Where is he on the board? Is that him? I think that's him there.
You've heard it here first.
a baller.
You've heard it here first.
New meta.
Matt Morosoli has just thrown it out there. This is his ETC list for 2020.
All right, everybody else, start studying. This is what you'll be seeing. Plenty of time to pick it apart. So he's running a pretty strong guard list. He's running a guard and Blood Angels.
He had 60 Catachan guardsmen and then 30 Talahan. And he screened really well, but there's not on that deployment with the 2 tools I had. And for this event, I'm actually practicing to try out some new things for potential ETC lists, where Kraken Steelers is something I hadn't actually tried, and same with the Aberrants being Twisted Helix.
Yep.
So just seeing how phenomenally fast they move, and for the 3d6 pick the highest for the Kraken advance, I rolled a 1, 1, and a 2, and I just doubled the 2, which kind of sucks.
12 inches.
Yeah, but it's still 12 inches, it's still something, and in that deployment though, he couldn't hide, and so now it's mad.
Nice. So 20-0 result.
Yep.
Looks like Matt's going to get a decent-sized win here against Kieren. We've also got Jeremy's Jeremy's up on points, but Josh walked past before and Jeremy's like, I'm up on point, but obviously I don't have any models. It's just, Iron Hands Thunderfires. It's Iron Hands versus Deathwatch.
Yep.
And so,
That's fair.
if you can just roll and just get squashed. And he's only essentially got 50 guys on the board.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So
wow.
it might be back to the drawing board for that list, but we'll see. Well, it did go straight into one of its worst counters. So
Yeah. Well, you try not to pair that, I guess.
that's right. Well, we'll see who are we going to pair in the Marines. You can have it. You
no
can
thanks.
you can be
Actually, with
noble.
if I get first turn, can I have first turn guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Sure. Then I'll take it.
But mind you, if they know that going in, they're like, sure, that doesn't work.
Sorry, guys. Jeff, can you just explain what was happening when they were rolling their dice that way for that unit?
Yeah. So
that
was the Bloodletters, I believe, attacking the Bloodletters were attacking intercessors. I wasn't actually at the table at the time, unfortunately. I think
That's right.
I think we've kind of put a nail in the coffin on this one. Politely.
Do we know what the score difference is? Has they got a scorecard we can have a look at? Just so we know how much Creedence to invest in this game.
Morosoli is going to get the max Maelstrom.
Yep.
He is well ahead on kill point. Well ahead. He'll probably end up with max kill point.
Nice.
And because of Morosoli's early to mid-game movement with that right-hand side of the board, he's going to hold pretty much all the Eternal Wars. So I think this is going to be this is going to be a 9-point differential across the board.
It's going to be then it's the 20-0.
I can't see this not being a 20-0.
Okay.
Something would have to go horribly wrong.
Dramatically
Like,
wrong.
I don't know.
Do we know what turn they're on?
Yeah, morale check or something. I believe your turn. Whose turn? Your turn 5 then.
Ah, beautiful.
Your turn 4. Sorry,
Turn 4. Okay. So, how much longer is left in this round?
So there is 30 minutes left of the round by the looks of it. There's 22 minutes left on Soli's clock, 8 minutes left on Kieren's clock. However, there was a misplay on the clock. They didn't change it over, so it's currently on Soli.
Okay,
even though it's Kieren's turn, for just to get that back.
Yeah, no, that's fair. As long as they're in agreement about that.
That's what we like to see. That's what we like to see at top tables.
Absolutely.
You know, mistakes get made with the clock, and it's, you know, gentleman's agreement to just pretty much.
We are not infallible.
Even that out is possible.
So, what do you think of this mission structure, Lee? So, this might be a new mission structure to many people, but yeah, what are your thoughts, Lee?
Well, I hate to say it, I didn't read it until we got here, but on reading it, I like it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
It also gets rid of a couple of deployments I'm not a fan of. So
yeah, well, the thing is, there's out of the 3, there's always going to be that one you really want.
Yeah.
And then there's the one you almost want. So you're likely to always get the one you almost want.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. How much did Soli pay to get a go at Kieren on the stream?
I don't know. Hopefully he paid a lot because because he didn't need his tires pumped up anymore on our streams. He hasn't dropped a game on stream with us, I don't think.
What did you say? It's not the what?
I don't think Soli has dropped a game on Down Under Network.
I'll have to check. I think you're right though.
I think he's won every game.
I mean, he got his dream opponent, Kieren. That's all he's been talking about. So.
You just said he did? I think.
Lost to Josh Brody at Rackon.
Oh,
the play call.
Oh, the play call. He was a winner there. He was a winner. Everyone knew he was the winner.
Adam says you're a winner then. Play call.
Play call winner.
Play call winner.
Play call winner.
Yeah, as far as play calls are concerned, he's the winner.
How can you be a loser when you're playing with a play call?
That's right.
And so for those that have been watching the stream rolling text down the bottom, play call does get mentioned.
Of course.
So
yeah. We got all this random stuff.
I think it's something like. Have you play called?
Have you play called?
Like,
yeah.
As much as people joke about the play call, I thought it was brilliant. When I came in,
it was actually brilliant.
I saw the play call. I'm like, that's actually brilliant.
That's actually sick. That actually makes a lot of sense.
For what he was using it for.
Yeah. Because just needed something to stop up the table and stay between him and his characters. And he's like,
I wasn't doing it to stop the Hellfire rounds or something. To be in
yeah,
the
well,
way
he's playing against Deathwatch, so he couldn't. It's a toughness 8 character.
That's
a toughness 8 vehicle. He's not shooting through it with Deathwatch units.
Brilliant. Like, as much as we give him shit.
I think he punches it to death in combat.
The old Soli.
Not bad. He pulls out the Plague Hulk himself. Pulls out a few zingers.
So the Ancient has just charged Khan. Khan is on 1 wound.
Will a hero
look,
fall?
Khan's done his job.
Oh, he's done.
Like, it'd be funny though.
He's like
Khan's taking out a bunch of characters. He's taking out a bunch of intercessors, and some guy's about to just take it out with a flagpole.
All right.
Like, ah!
Let me just. I didn't know how many points Khan is. We have. Where
Khan's
is
the list.
He's 120 points. Yeah, 120. Also, that's sick. We got the game predictor going. Diffy's got his game predictor, so it was a pretty much 60% chance that Matt Morosoli was going to win with these 2 armies on this table versus each other. And Khan lives.
Matt's happy.
Khan just live.
Matt's happy. Khan live.
Oh,
he just took 2 flagpoles. He just took 2 wounds from a flagpole to the face. They weren't sure the AP. So he said, I'll roll the dice. If I pass my invulns, it doesn't matter.
Double
roll
6.
the 5, 6. He goes,
Beautiful.
Dirty dog. Yeah, so this is all stuff that Down Under Pairings subscribers get. But we've got this game predictor now. So based on all the stats, based on the armies that you play, based on who goes first, who goes second, all those factions, wins and lost and things, we get a game predictor of what's most likely to have.
Yeah,
now,
Diffy had a tournament with it.
Yeah, you played the whole tournament. Yeah,
I won.
And Lee won. Yeah.
I never rolled a dice.
You're looking at the winner. You're looking at the winner of the very first Down Under Network Patreon challenge.
Game predictor. Yeah.
You can find that stream on our YouTube channel as well, or in the highlight of the Twitch channel.
Check it out. But yeah, I just think that's a sick bit of tech for moving
Next
forward.
level, isn't it?
It is absolutely next level. Because you'd think that like if this was any other faction and it wasn't Space Marines in this current environment, that percentage would be a lot lower.
Yeah.
It's because it's Chaos versus Space Marines, and these are two competent players.
And the other thing is, I think Diffie was saying on that stream when he was doing that tournament that the Astartes, it doesn't factor in the new book.
Oh, really?
Yet,
It's just
it's got the old
last
data, but
year of
it
data.
will change.
Oh, it'll
gradually, yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
So,
And it's a tricky one because it's like when do you take it out?
It's
So, like
hard.
so 1 week after a codex, do you just say, all right, we can't guess?
Yeah.
And like, that might be the answer.
Might be.
It might be cool once
Could be, yeah.
once Astartes drop.
It's like,
But the problem is,
that's a
if you look
reset.
at
That's a
Imperium,
reset every week, though. That's like a reset every
That's-
bloody
I
week. Yeah, and that'll just make the stats kind of worthless in a lot of ways.
so Matt's loving life. Something's going
He
right.
is loving life. He is going into full Kyle mode. He's about to smash some drywall.
Hands are up in the air. He's laughing.
Why is he?
cheering.
Yeah, he's letting Kieren have something. He's probably not letting Kieren. Kieren's probably in the right, and Matt's just like, oh, I'll let you have it. Just a cheeky, I'll let you have it. He knows he's got this game locked up. He doesn't give a shit.
Look at that smile. You couldn't chisel it off. Like it's
Okay.
loving it.
Nah.
there's some stretches going on to try and take out Khan.
Okay.
And Soli ain't having a bar of it.
Nice. I'm going to quickly go to the leaderboard and see what other scores we've got chucked in. Right now we have a Mark Deal sitting in first with 20 points. Looks like Lee,
I haven't
looks
done
like
mine
you
yet.
haven't finalised your scores. It's fun. There we go. So we've currently got Mark Deal on a max point win. And then it's me, but Lee's points haven't gone in. We've also got Josh Brody on an 18 as well, so it's actually kind of likely I'll be playing Josh Brody next because we know you're going to jump me.
Yeah,
we
so
know
I won't-
Soli's going to jump us.
It could be. Yeah.
most
There
likely.
should be a few more 20s. Surely.
Surely there's going to be a couple more 20s.
There's only what,
because
one?
there's
Six
tons
games.
of games I haven't gone through yet. So we've still got Jeremy, still got Stuart's game, still got Rob Lane's game. Rob Lane looks like he's going to get up over Matt Jackson.
Okay.
So that'll be another big swing.
It's an
Tristan,
ATC tryout.
yeah, Tristan Bone. Yeah, that is a really good game. I actually would have preferred to have that game on two
Yeah.
ATC players playing against each other. But look, it's a little bit too much exposure to our opponents, but gives them great interactions. So we'll jump back to that as and when we need it, guys. Back to the game.
All right. Well, I better go get a drink.
Just to find
Take your ease, mate. You come back, Diff? Come back to have a sit? Yeah.
Would you like me to put these
No,
on?
just hang them up, man. Thank you. Back up.
Welcome to the jungle.
We've got new tech.
Yeah. Oh, have you? Yeah.
Dude, this is the first time me and you've sat next to each other in a while.
Especially with the new gear.
This is nice. This is cozy.
So some of the things that Adam hasn't had to get to play around with yet is
The buttons.
yeah. So hold on. So I just want to say a big thank you to our Down Under Network patrons. With your support, we've managed to bring out better gear throughout the year, and that consisted of some new gear yesterday. And so big thanks. Press that button. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you. You are the real heroes.
Yep.
And if you're not a Down Under Network or Down Under Pairings subscriber, Patreon, whatever, you got something for them?
Oh, no. I was waiting for a joke. I was waiting for a joke.
There's no joke. Sign up. Do it.
Yeah,
we
sign
get
up.
we get new stuff. You guys get to hear us better. You get to interact better. We get to push buttons, man. We got a mixing board. Like
I know.
we're like a real thing now. Look at that. Look at that shit. It's got buttons and stuff. I want to push them. I don't know what they do. He'll get angry if I do, but I'm just gonna like
Just go for
face
it.
palm that shit.
Just go for it, mate. What's the top left button do? Too loud.
It's pretty good.
You'll piss off our
And
audience.
so we can put anything on those, can't we?
We can. That's stock standard stuff. It's
that was the-
literally what came out of the box last night.
Don't lie, Diff. We know that's your personal playlist.
Oh man, we're gonna get some Blink 182 on there.
You know
We're
what?
gonna
The,
get
all right. In fairness, that
all the small things.
that music that it does have as the background stock standard music sounds like, I'm gonna say, third or fourth album of Kings of Leon.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Like, not their original stuff, if I, it's not them, but it'll be some. The guys at Rhodes would have literally played something themselves, probably.
So this has got to be in the closing moments of this game. Surely this is bottom of 5, top of bottom of 5. And
Yeah.
So we know Soli's going to get a big win here. Looking back to the leaderboard, it still hasn't had Lee's game chucked in. We know Lee's got a 20. There it goes. Just gone in, so it is Mark Deal. So it is... Right now it is Mark Deal on a 20 and then Lee Abbey on a 20. Both G Steel club players. So both two max win for GSC. And then it's me playing Imperium in third and Josh Brody's playing Demons in fourth. It looks like Morosoli is probably going to jump in the middle there. And there's also quite likely that either the winner of Jerry Martino and Terence Drew or Rob Lane will jump above us as well.
Yeah, so, well, it won't jump above, per se.
In between.
Well, maybe.
In
So,
us.
Mark, Lee, and Soli. So when Soli wins and gets his 20, they'll have the exact same strength of schedule.
Yep.
Because it's round 1.
Yeah.
So it will be random then from there.
Who plays up, who plays down. So that is the end of the game. Dice Down has just been called by the TO. We'll have these scores jumping in thick and thin. I might tap out and leave the rest to it. I got to do some recuperating from my game and start planning for the next one. So, Mr. McGowan, are you here?
Don't forget to hydrate, my friend.
No,
That's like Kieren says.
Your turn to do some chatty chats.
Yeah.
We can chatty chat.
We can chatty chat. But we are getting to the end of this round, and I'm assuming we're going to go into the lunch break. They're just putting in the final scores. It looks like, yeah, we'll see how it's going. The victory points is 30-1. So that will be a differential of enough for 2020. I'm just getting some questions coming through from the scores. I'm just going to go there for 2 seconds. I'll be right back. Oh no, they're going to ask TOs, which is probably what they should have done in the first place. That's what happens.
Leave the streaming team alone. All right, so what's the timings, Diff? When can people tune back in and whatnot?
So I do want to say a
Brent.
big thank you to Brent. Well done. Thanks for joining the team. Really appreciate it. And as we said, the support of our patrons is what gives us the ability to provide better and better content. You guys do get stuff for it. So we do have a number of different tiers. The lowest tier pretty much just gives you access to a Facebook group and our weekly Discord chats. And as you go up, you can get free subscription to Down Under Pairings, as well as access to monthly draws. We missed a month because of ETC just taking up our life. So what we did, we did a draw where we drew 2 prizes last time, and so that ended up with a prize going to Ben Mulhall, who got some Storm Boys, and Simon, who got some Gretchen. It looks like we're going to be joined by Mr. the Plague Hulk Morosoli. Chuck those bad boys on, my friend.
Is you totally not panics for the bits as well? That's another way that you can help the boys out.
Oh, righto.
There we go.
G'day.
How was that?
Dude, Khan is a baller.
So what was the end? How many skulls for the Skulls Throne?
16 intercessors, 6 hellblasters, a chaplain, a squad of scouts, a lieutenant. I think that's it.
And an ancient with a banner.
Oh, and an ancient with a banner. Yeah, so it was more than a quarter. I think it was probably close to a third of his army. Khan killed.
As Eric did actually call that fairly on. He said Khan will legit kill everything if Kieren can't put him down now.
Yeah, 100%. I waited until I got the good wrap off, so I had the plague bearers and the crawler sort of holding a whole unit in pretty well.
Yep.
And then Khan jumped out, and he had no real way to attack him. Attack him well.
It looked like you were going for a pretty big, or pretty sick play in turn. I'm going to say turn 5, could be in turn 4, where Khan was engaged with Chaplain around here-ish.
Yep.
You had brought the 2 princes over, killed the Chaplain with targeting spells. It looked like he then wanted to warp time him, but was his base too big to fit through a gap?
The model that I'm using is Dean's, and it's on a 40 mil instead of a 32, and it's got this weird rock overhanging, and it was just it was too much hassle to argue about where it's supposed to actually be. So I just
it wasn't important enough.
No, well, he went the other way and he killed the whole squad. He killed 9 intercessors then anyway, so he just he walked around and
he did his job
and hosed them anyway.
Yeah, but
yeah, he's solid.
But I mean, that kind of play, it being able to take out the things that are wrapping, or just engaging, I should say, a character like Khan, and just being going, warp time.
Yeah, it's pretty.
See
good.
you later. So yeah, any specific highlights you wanted to bring up?
I think it was a pretty boring game. Really, it was sort of look. I moved up, wrapped, and then sat there smiting and fighting for 5 turns. It didn't feel like a particularly interesting game to watch. I'm not sure how it was over here. It was pretty cool to see Khan get in there and do a bunch of work, but at the end of the day, it's just sort of it was a unit that got wrapped, and then the wrap ended up holding 4 different units in, and I wasn't getting shot. The Bloodletters failing the 3d6 charge on
That hurt.
a 1, a 1, and a 2 was pretty rude.
But interestingly enough, that unit pretty much stayed around. Like he didn't.
He had nothing to shoot me with because everything was in combat. So he fell back with a couple of units, and he had 1 unit that could shoot me, and it killed 2 Bloodletters, and I rolled the 1 and I got them back anyway.
Yep.
So it didn't really matter. It was pretty bad, but it didn't really matter too much. I just killed the unit I was going to kill 1 turn later instead.
So did you have the Dark Matter Crystal?
I did. I didn't use it.
Well, yeah, because you basically played as Angle Bomb down the whole game.
Yeah.
What was the plan on having them on the right hand side so far away from the Dark Matter Crystal?
I deployed first, so I didn't know which side Kieren was going to castle up in. And the idea being, I was sort of hoping I could get him to castle up opposite the Plaguebearer castle, which he sort of did. And then I was going to move across and Dark Matter them in. But I didn't need to. Just sort of, they weren't really needed to that game, so they walked up and they got an objective and they chilled out. But I was sort of the plan was always just to fly the Imprints over and walk and Dark Matter them if I ever needed them.
Was there any reason? Because obviously for the first 2 or 3 turns you pretty much left them down here, which made perfect sense. What I was surprised to see was you moved them up to take up this kind of space up here, and the princes were so far away that you would have taken your 2 turns to get over to Dark Matter.
Not really. When you advance the prince, you go sort of between 13 and 18, and it's a 12-inch range, so it's 30 inches, and you can move his angle 6 inches towards you, so it becomes 36 inches.
You reckon he was in range?
What's that?
You reckon he was in range?
I reckon if I wanted to be, I would have been in range.
All right.
I don't know. I didn't need them that game.
No, you didn't. Which goes to show, Adeptus Astartes at the moment gets a lot of love. People are giving it a lot of cred, but it's still beatable.
That list
clearly still beatable.
That list is disgusting if you let it play its game.
Yep.
But if you sort of look, the Plague Burst crawlers are hard for it to kill, and Khan is really good at killing a whole heap load of infantry. So those are sort of my little tech choices to play against it.
Yep.
And look, it sort of did what I wanted to do. But if he sat back and he shot me for 6 turns, I would have got tabled. Straight up. If he'd played it a little bit better, I think if he'd thrown characters into the first Plague Burst crawler, killed it, not overcommitted, not put his Smash Captain in my castle, his Libby right in front of me.
Because he pushed too hard with unsupported characters, and the other thing that a few people picked out was when he deployed in this V shape, which in itself is a fairly common deployment for that style of army, but because he did it, he just left this space here for you to be able to charge from. No Overwatch.
The scouts should have been somewhere around there, I think. The unit of scouts he had at the back just did nothing by being at the back of the board.
Yeah.
I would have put them in that building, actually. I would have put them right there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that one there?
Exactly right there. Even if they get charged and wrapped or whatever, it's not a big deal, but you stop me from able to deep strike in that little spot.
Yep.
Well, likewise, it didn't utilise any levels of terrain or anything like that.
It looks a bit... it looks like there's a bit more of that going on the stream table than it actually does. When you're actually playing on it, there isn't really much space you can take up on that table in higher levels of terrain that are actually beneficial for you. But yeah, it basically came down to that Plague Burst Crawler being, and the Plague Bearers being in his lines wrapped up for 5 turns.
Yep.
And then the amount of units he had in there, he was never going to kill them. I don't know why that many Intercessors stuck around trying to kill them. He was never going to kill 30 Plague Bearers with Miasma in combat. So there are a few sort of questionable decisions that I think made the game blow out a bit more than it should have.
Yep.
But yeah, you can you can beat the 60 Intercessor army if you've got Khan and some princes, I guess. It's sort of the secret OP to it.
Well, the princes
did nothing.
They didn't. I mean, the princes could have just as easily been sorcerers on discs.
Well, they might have died to the turn the Smash Captain came in if they were a Sork, but
yeah, fair.
Look, it's.
But I mean, from an offensive ability perspective,
yeah.
The princes, you could have been a bit more aggressive with them, I guess, mid to late game.
Yeah, it's always
but
a
once
risk,
again,
though.
It is, and also I guess at that point it's you were so far ahead on Maelstrom and kill points. You were always going to win on Eternal War. You're right. It's the risk versus reward. If you had pushed harder with those princes, you were already playing defensively. You probably were on a 20. So there was
could have ended a turn earlier. Is sort of the best it could have been. But at the same time, if I do that and one of the princes gets donked, a couple of Thunderhammers on the Intercessors, it's not super likely. But if that happens, it's bad. So yeah, it's sort of just play it safely. It was pretty safe after turn 3.
Do you know what time the next round is? All right. We're not 100% certain what time the next round is. It's not published, and Dean is not in the room, the TO. So what we're going to do is we're going to sound off here and say we'll be back shortly, probably within the half-hour range. We will be putting it up on Facebook and spruiking it around. So thanks for staying tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed round 1. And hashtag Art of War Australia.
Yeah, paint your Khan models.
Paint your Khan models. All right. Peace.